Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
The invasion from the north has begun. We saw walking on the strip this morning, fans from Wisconsin in town for the big showdown. Badgers and the Tide tomorrow morning. Just now 24 hours away from the battle at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown on the road at a historic location, the original home of the Yellowhammer.
It is the original home of the Yellowhammer since 1976. This has been a foundation, a institution in Tuscaloosa. And I'll say this, the transformation, when I was in school from 90 to 95 down here, I was telling Jeff, one of the owners, the biggest transformation in Tuscaloosa is the bathroom in Gallette's. And I'm not exaggerating this.
Yeah.
When you would go to the bathroom here before and after games, Tyler brought up The Toxic Avenger, the movie that is out right now.
Right.
The Toxic Avenger probably spawned from the bathroom floor at Gallette's. Like, I used to think, like, I've got to wear the worst shoes. Like, I'm digging a ditch if I'm going to go to the game and I'm going to Gallette.
Yeah, if you go game, then Galette's, your work.
The bathrooms are beautiful now.
To your point, I will go into bathrooms inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. In the press box, there's one urinal. Here at Gallette's, I got 8 to choose from. And that's just in one of these bathrooms. The upgrade's good. The Yellowhammer never changes.
Oh, the Yellowhammer is delicious. They got them on tap here. Come by, enjoy the Yellowhammers. But we really want you to enjoy. Brown looked at me weird when I popped my first Bud Light today. He's like, damn, dude, it's not even 9. Oh, we're not at 9 o'clock today.
I said, LT having a beer before 9. That's a new one.
Yeah.
Then I realized it was just before 11.
Or as some Americans say,
before noon.
Before noon. That's right.
Yeah.
Look, these things are coming straight off the ice. Feel that.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't even drink that. It's got to burn your throat.
Yeah.
So cool.
We've got Bud Light swag. The Bud Light girls are out. We've got the wheel again. If you were joining us last year when we were in Tuscaloosa before games, come out, get they've got really, really good swag this year again. So come out, opportunity to win that. Best college beer pricing is you can't beat it.
Yeah.
You just cannot beat college beer price.
I hate to do this on the fly this way, but I need to tell you guys something before we get too deep into this, because and the chat room and everybody that watches the show is going to love this. Many of you who joined us early, there was no sound because one of our computers, our systems, and Tyler can explain this better than me, but we won't get behind the behind the bowling alley there, crashed. So Tyler has just told me, and Scott has backed it up, Tyler cannot play commercials. So we're commercial break free. So plan accordingly. I'm just telling you guys.
Oh, sweet. So we get to drink cold Bud Light for 3 hours without getting up.
Yes, I am right. Tyler, I am correct about that, right? Jim does not need to throw to a commercial break at any time. Am I correct on that?
At the moment, no. We've had some technical issues, and I'm trying to get them back up on the fly here. So we might be able to let everybody hear about Alex Shinara and Coca-Cola and Hemp Hill and everybody else we love so much. Or we might not be able to do that. I'll let you guys know, though.
All right, you let us know. So there you go. So,
well, since we're doing this on the fly, Tyler, does that also impact our ability to hear sound bites throughout the show? Forrester worked so hard overnight on throwing. I've got 11 sound bites for the show. Should I cancel those at this point?
Just call for them and yell for me, and I'll run over.
Oh,
okay.
Run over being a key word.
Yeah, and our headlines of the day. Is that going to affect? I guess that wouldn't affect that, right?
I didn't do one.
I didn't either.
I took this week off.
Oh, you're the one that did it.
Yeah, I got one.
All right, Lance, headlines. All right,
I got one of those off.
Somebody picked up the ball and ran with it. Thank you, Lance.
All right, so we'll get to those coming up. The usual show, but we start off still with the country still spinning from some gun violence earlier this week. Cut number 5, Tyler. We'll start off down at Auburn yesterday, where Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze, as he was addressing the media after practice, wanted to recognize the importance of September 11th and other things that were going on around the country. You've seen this on our social media platform. Brooks Carter sending that out. Scott Forrester sending that out from our platform there. Here is Hugh Freeze down at Auburn taking a moment to address something very important to him.
I don't have that audio at the moment either.
So that was a no earlier.
I got it back now.
On the point of a good setup, though, I thought that was a pretty good toss.
I mean, for a toss to a back, that was perfect. You had him right in the hand.
Okay, so we do not have that.
Yeah.
Really good soundbite from you, Freeze.
Yeah, so you can go see that at Next Round Live. Show today being brought to you other than.
Oh, you got it now. Okay.
Yeah, I've got it now.
Try it again, Jim. See if you can improve your setup.
Hit it then, man. Play it.
before I start, there's a lot of things obviously going on in our nation. Today's 9/11, and I'd be remiss if we didn't remember those that lost during that day. It was I remember it vividly. And then here recently we had a wonderful professor here lose her life, Julie Chanelli, and then yesterday obviously with Charlie Kirk's assassination. Man, he was a friend of mine. Got to know him well at Liberty, and irregardless of your view on everything, he for me, he modeled what he believed in better than anyone I've ever met. And boy, today it just made me. I shared with the kids and even text my daughters this morning, like, do I model for you that faith is the most important thing to me, family, and then this room. And he did that. He modeled what he believed in, and I hope and pray that my daughters, as imperfect as I am, they see that I've modeled, faith and family and protecting them and providing for them. And that's what I want these young men to get from everything that's going on is, man, find out what you really believe in and then live in a way that models it.
Auburn's Coach Hugh Freeze there. And before we get to the games on the field here, on our location show brought to you by our friends at Bud Light, this is something, the divide in our country, the violence, the political divide, the social divide, the economic divide. That's something that coaches, I don't know if they've ever had to deal with it on the collegiate level as much as they're having to deal with it right now in their locker rooms. This is a point that every coach is having to have conversations with their players about on a continual basis.
Yeah, and it seems like we've done this for 7 or 8 years. I remember Nick Saban leading a charge when BLM.
Yep.
And I think that was after Jefferson City, maybe?
Marched with his players, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot exactly what the situation was. But, yeah, I mean, this is our new reality, unfortunately.
So that gets us to the games on the field today, being brought to you by our friends at Bojangles Brownie. Get us going with Bojangles.
Yeah, it can be bow time for you at Bojangles, whether it is your tailgate, whether it is those watch parties at your house, whether it is breakfast tomorrow morning. Bojangles has you covered. Those great hand-breaded chicken tenders with those great sauces that you can dip those in. They've got 7 choices there. Bojangles has you covered. And again, make it a great stop for that tailgate for tonight's high school football or for college football watch parties tomorrow. Bojangles can do that. That pork chop griller is back for breakfast at Bojangles. You can swing by and get one of those on your way to work Monday or even tomorrow morning before the games get started. At your local Bojangles, it is bow time.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, keeping you on top of your health, guys, as you go from your college years here in Tuscaloosa in your 20s to your 30s and 40s, and then before you know it, it's 50s and 60s and 70s, and you want to stay on top of your health. Nothing helps you better than early detection on things like prostate health, the kidney stones, and everything in between. Check them out. 16 great locations around the great state of Alabama. Urology Centers, alabama.com. Urology Centers, alabama.com for all the details, and make an appointment. They've been doing it for over 70 years. Your urological care in Alabama, 205-930-0920, Urology Centers, alabama.com. Last night in the NFL, before we jump into the college game, the game was not as close as the score was, 27-18. And all I could think about the entire game watching the Packers in their blizzard whiteout uniforms was Micah Parsons and how disruptive he was to the young Jaden Daniels and that offense. The game ended up 27-18, but for most of the night, the Washington Commanders offense sputtered, and a lot of that came from the disruption of the Packers defense, led by the fact that Micah Parsons was just on the field for half the snaps.
Yeah, look, this secondary struggled last year for Green Bay, but now that you've got a closer like Micah Parsons, he is going to be a difference maker. We did our kickoff party a couple of weeks ago, and it was the day that Micah Parsons was traded to Green Bay.
Yep.
And I remember talking to our buddy Mitri, who's a big 49ers fan. I was like, as a Rams fan, I absolutely hate this. Packers didn't scare me. Now they scare me. Like Micah Parsons with the Cowboys doesn't scare me. Micah Parsons with the Packers is scary. And I know we overreact to a lot.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks now, though.
But now your second shortest favorite to win Super Bowl 60 behind the Buffalo Bills, the Green Bay Packers at plus 650.
We overreact to week 1. This is week 2, and it is now a trend They have played the Lions, who were a terrific offense last year.
Yeah,
the Lions could do
15-win team, your
Yep.
one seed,
And they
completely dominated
could
them.
do nothing on offense. And they played the Commanders, who were a playoff team with the best rookie quarterback in the league last year.
In the NFC Championship game.
And they could do nothing.
Right.
So you tell me if we're overreacting, Dunaway. I don't think we really are. I mean, I think we got 2 games of this. This daggone Packers team is a handful for the NFC.
No surprise they're 2-0. The
Yeah.
surprising thing is the domination, winning by double digits, those games really never in question. Jordan Love continues to improve as a quarterback. Again, this defense is going to be dominant. And look, they should be 2-0 again, but the way they have dominated it, I mean, the Packers are going to be a factor.
I don't think you start off the year against 2 former playoff teams and guarantee you're 2-0. I expected them to be 2-0, but that's a tough start for them. A couple of things in the game. Did you see the broadcast where they talked about the 27 club?
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Love turns 27 on November 2nd, and historically,
It's crazy
the
how this
27
worked
year has
out.
been good for the Packers.
Yeah, I think the Packers, if you really look, and you guys shoot me down if I'm wrong,
Okay.
and I guess a lot of this depends on how everything plays out with Jordan Love, but probably the best organization for quarterbacks in the history of the NFL.
Well, I mean, you've had
Back to your point, Bart Starr at 27 won a championship
Yeah.
before the Super Bowl.
All right.
Brett Favre at 27.
There's a huge gap of bad quarterback play between Bart Starr and Brett Favre.
You mean the Magic Man wasn't great?
Yeah,
Y'all remember the Magic Man?
He was good for a year or two.
Well, he was good for like 5 games, and then it fell apart.
And then
In my childhood, the Packers sucked.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
sucked.
yeah.
Sorry to any Wisconsin fans who are coming into town today, but the Packers sucked
Hey,
most of my childhood.
I don't mean to hijack this, but we've talked some about this on the show today. I was talking to the people at Gallette's here. They had a private function here last night, and they said like the Wisconsin fans were trying to get in here. They were everywhere on the strip last night watching the Packers game. So when we talked about how many Wisconsin fans, they were telling me here that there's like some sort of association of bars and they all communicate. And they're like, all the Wisconsin bars are telling all the Tuscaloosa bars, you better get ready, that there is a crowd coming for this game from Wisconsin.
Yeah, our
Get out of
prince
your
from Company Distilling, Scott Banks, came in from Albuquerque yesterday, and he said the Birmingham airport was overrun with
Yeah,
Wisconsin
so,
fans yesterday.
Anyway, I didn't mean to hijack that,
That's
but
okay.
yeah.
Oh, anyway,
I'm used to it. I usually think it's Alabama Bar Association. That's what that.
No,
you know
no,
what
no,
that
this-
stands for,
It's an ABA.
or is that legal?
It's a different bar.
but to Dunaway's point, the 27 club. So
Okay, go.
Bart Starr,
Right.
Brett Favre,
Uh-huh.
Aaron Rodgers, the only Super Bowl he ever won. And as Dunaway said, Jordan Love will be 27 this year.
Yeah, on November 2nd. The
so
big
they-
question would be: Would Brett Favre prefer to be in the 27 club or the Mile High club?
I bet he's been in both. I'd feel really good about that.
All right, so that's 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks that are Hall of Famers based on their play at the Packers. They didn't like go somewhere else and become a Hall of Famer. Like Rodgers is only a Hall of Famer because of his play with the Packers.
Right.
Favre is only a Hall of Famer because of his play with the Packers, and Starr only played with the Packers. I mean, I hate doing stuff like this on the fly, but I mean, what other NFL franchise has 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks based on their play only at that franchise? I can't think of one right offhand. I mean, Tony Romo's not a Hall of Famer. No,
Dak's not a Hall of Famer.
but Aikman and Staubach are, but they don't have another one. You know, I mean, you can start doing a lot to have 2, but they don't have another one.
yeah,
So,
Terry Bradshaw, Roethlisberger.
that's right. But who else from because of what they did at the Steelers? Now Rodgers is with the Steelers now, but he's not going to be in the Hall of Fame based on what he did with the Steelers.
Johnny Unitas,
Unitas, Peyton
Peyton
Manning,
Manning, and then Andrew Luck
he
would
will
have
not
been.
be. Yeah, but he won't be. So I don't know. I mean, that's it. To your point there, that 27 club feels like it's got some meaning because nobody's gotten quarterback better right more than the Packers.
And here's what scares me: home field in the NFC. Because if you're a Tampa Bay fan or if you're a Rams fan,
yeah, what's it going to be like up there?
and if you've got to go through Green Bay, because I remember when Aaron Rodgers had them as a 1 seed and the Rams going up there multiple times, just can't get it done.
Al Michaels last night was like, I think this is the only time I've ever been here when the temperature was like in the 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
He says normally in the 30s when I come up here.
Giants are going to be the answer to your question pretty quickly. Eli Manning will be there. Already you've got Phil Simms, and they had a bunch back in the day, the New York Giants.
Otto Graham or something?
Y.A. Tittle or somebody like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it may be the Giants. That may be the one.
Four-man Hall of Famers, though, Phil Simms and Eli Manning.
Yeah. The NFL last night gets us into a big weekend coming up in the National Football League that includes a couple of big things. But if you're a 2020 Alabama National Championship fan, as most people in this town are, a big opportunity starting this weekend for former Alabama National Championship winning quarterback Mac Jones who is now the backup quarterback in San Francisco for the 49ers. Brock Purdy is out at least this weekend, maybe up to 5 weeks. And here comes Mac Jones now with an opportunity to start. Still with a healthy Christian McCaffrey, but the reason Brock Purdy is struggling is because that receiving core has been decimated over the years. They don't have as many playmakers. But here is another opportunity for Mac Jones to the franchise he probably should have been drafted by. Would have had a different career. Brock Purdy would probably be selling insurance. No offense to insurance agents I play golf with, but he'd probably be selling insurance or cars somewhere at Brock Purdy, State Farm or whatever. Here's Mac Jones now with an opportunity to reignite his career, at least for a weekend, if not for 2 or 3.
If it wasn't for the internal power struggle that was John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, they both disagreed. One wanted Trey Lance, one wanted Mac Jones. Trey Lance was the guy. And I agree with you. If Mac Jones was drafted, they never even spend the final pick in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant, on Brock Purdy. So he probably is selling insurance. I think Mac Jones, this is an incredible opportunity because you've got one of the best play callers in all of football. Now people are sleeping on the 49ers. And I think Mac Jones can go out there and do exactly what Brock Purdy was doing. I know a lot of people will disagree with that, but I think you're getting value. Like this weekend, they're only a 3-point favorite on the road against the worst team in the NFL in the New Orleans Saints.
Boy, if he does do exactly what Purdy did, you are going to regret that contract.
To Brock Purdy.
To Brock Purdy, not to Mac Jones, obviously. To Brock Purdy. I mean, you're going to regret that because if he goes out and does it, then how do you trade Purdy? Because everybody's going to look at it and say, well, it's obviously the system. It obviously wasn't Brock Purdy.
That's right.
I mean, who's going to go trade for him? So, at one point they were in the most amazing quarterback situation of all time. They weren't paying any quarterbacks any big money, and they were going to Super Bowls and doing it. They could be in the actual reverse situation where they're having to pay a quarterback a ton of money not to play, a la Deshaun Watson in Cleveland.
So there's a former Alabama quarterback with a big opportunity coming up this weekend in Mac Jones, and a couple of quarterbacks that Alabama fans hated during the late teens of this century. They get to go head-to-head for the first time since they played each other in the 2019 national championship game. Joe Burrow versus Trevor Lawrence. When that night happened and Burrow outlasted Trevor Lawrence, did you think Joe Burrow would be the better NFL player over Trevor Lawrence when they got to the National Football League? By that point, you probably thought it'd be close.
Yeah, I can't say definitively that I would have said that. Again, that season was just an amazing season that kind of you were in disbelief as it was going along, just how good that offense was and how good that 2019 LSU team was. At that point, the year before, a true freshman, Trevor Lawrence wins a national championship, played maybe his best game in that national championship game against Alabama. So the ceiling to me was a little bit higher for Trevor Lawrence, but it's not even close. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is getting paid elite quarterback money, but the career
and Burrow plays for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, and he got the Cincinnati Bengals with a terrible offensive line and a shaky defense to a Super Bowl where they had a lead in the second half in that Super Bowl. So to me, it hadn't even been close. But going back to your original question, I would have thought it would have been really close.
Really close, but it's Burrow by a mile now. But they play each other this weekend. One more college football national championship quarterback matchup happening this weekend. Do you guys know who it is?
Oh, man, I'd have to look. If I look at the schedule, would it jump out at me?
Probably. It's the first chance for these two to play each other since they played in the national championship game.
Oh, they played one another in the national
championship?
Championship?
They did, just like Burrow. See, it's a theme.
Yeah,
just like Burrow and Lawrence, this is another one. It's a theme.
You're going to do this to me.
It's almost a theme.
I'm trying to sit here. So with Clemson, Deshaun Watson's not playing.
He is not.
Tua is playing Drake May.
Thank God North Carolina wasn't there, or maybe we wanted him there if you're an Alabama fan.
Jalen Hurts is going against Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, Texas Tech never made it.
Yeah.
Nope.
You're just going to work your way through the league.
I can't figure this out.
No, it's
Bryce Young never won one.
Yep. It would be the 2023 national championship matchup of J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix Jr. They face each other this weekend.
Quite quickly, too.
Wow. And that was a mismatch as far as throwing the football around because, Penix, a Heisman finalist, J.J. McCarthy never had to do anything.
Yeah.
When he was asked to do things, he made throws. And that was, kind of the unknown when Minnesota took him in the first round was like, how good can this guy be? We never saw him take games over, but he never had to.
Yeah, so a couple of interesting matchups in the NFL this weekend from a college perspective. And if you haven't watched the show, Lance is a big Rams fan. He mentions it occasionally. His boy Matt Stafford and Joe Flacco with a unique opportunity this weekend. If they win their game, Stafford, he'll be there in Nashville against the Titans. Flacco gets a chance to beat the Ravens, if they're able to pull off that miracle win between Cleveland and Baltimore, they will join a club that includes only 10 players in National Football League history of players that have beaten 31 other NFL teams. So Stafford and Flacco, Stafford's never beaten the Titans.
Okay.
Flacco's never beaten the Ravens. Stafford didn't get to play the Titans a lot.
Sure.
Flacco and the Ravens, he used to play for them.
So what would that 32nd team be for Stafford?
I
think
did not look that up.
Detroit.
It's got to be Detroit because he played for him for so long.
Well,
He hasn't beat them since they've been with the Rams. That would be it
That's
then.
got to be it.
yeah, because they lost in the postseason 2 years ago, and then they opened the season against Detroit last year and lost in overtime.
You may have said this. Has anybody beaten 32?
Oh, yeah. 10. No, I don't know. There are 10 that joined.
I mean,
They
Tom
joined
Brady.
10 others.
Tom Brady had to have. I mean, you guys had to have beaten the Patriots when Brady was there.
It seems like, we played them in Foxborough. We may have lost that game.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
It's Matt Stafford did join the 60,000 yard club last week.
I mean, he's had a
That's the 10th all time.
A lot of clubs we've mentioned. 27, 60,000, 31
Mile
games,
high.
Mile high.
Is it? I mean, is Matt's
See if Brooks can research that. Anybody ever beat all 32 NFL teams?
any NFL quarterback has a win over all 32 NFL teams?
Yeah, it'll be an
It's gotta be.
He immediately said Tom Brady would be the first guess. Because it's crazy for Stafford. He's played his whole career in the NFC to play that many AFC teams and beat them. That's pretty crazy. And by the way, some of those Detroit teams are pretty bad.
I bet Russell Wilson's close because playing in Denver and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, got in both the leagues.
Yeah, because I beat everybody in Seattle.
Yeah.
But how many did he get in Denver?
Not a lot.
Four have beaten 32 teams.
Brett Favre, Manning. It's the people you would think of: Manning, Favre, Breeze, and who? Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for Breeze,
You could have
difficult though.
a mustard jacket if
Because, Breeze had to obviously beat the Saints when he was with the Chargers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a pretty cool club.
All right, so that's a little NFL. We'll get to the college game coming up as soon as LT tells us about our friends at Hemphill, lanceslock.com. They got football ready for you to go this weekend. You can get a great football package at lanceslock.com.
It's funny. We went to dinner last night, and I know one of the valet guys, and he's like, "Who do you got tonight?" And I was like, "NC State." And he's like, "Do you really like them?" And I was like, "I love them." And 15 minutes later, it's 14-0. And Robbie Ashford was playing like I've never seen Robbie Ashford play. And then Robbie Ashford, the real Robbie Ashford, showed up quickly with a big 6. And we ended up getting NC State minus the 7 last night. 3-0 last night for all our subscribers. We have been rolling, crushing it. We've got one play up tonight in college football. It's up and available right now with more Major League Baseball. Jump on board and win with us. Free play every single day at lanceslock.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham's trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, cooling issues. Any of these arise in your home or business, make the phone call. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
And our guy, Alexander Shinara, trial attorneys. Call me, Alabama. Alexander Shinara is the place to go when you're in need of an attorney. You pay nothing unless they win your case. You start right there at Shinara.com. He is a Birmingham guy, has been forever, man. 24 years, the firm has grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members, and they have recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values of integrity, mastery, passion, and success. When you find yourself in need of a lawyer, Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys, Shinara.com, Shinara.com.
Mick Gillespie will be by in a moment. These guys are excited to tell you, and we'll tell you about how Mick Gillespie is coming into your devices a little more here in the future. That's coming up in just a moment. Todd Fuhrman will talk to you about all the big college football games going up in the next segment. But in the games tonight, keep an eye on Kansas State. And I know LT knows this because he works at lanceslog.com tirelessly for you guys. But finally, since the kickoff in the game in Ireland, finally Kansas State gets Dylan Edwards back as they play at Arizona, 8 o'clock on Main Fox, and this could be a big deal for Kansas State to get right as they get into Big 12 play.
Now, Kansas State easily, and we'll remember on the very first punt return for Dylan Edwards is where he got hurt against Iowa State and over in Ireland. They could easily be 3-0. They could easily be 0-3. And now they're playing an Arizona team where Brian Brennan going into the season had the shortest odds on first coach to be fired. They're 2-0 right now. Now, they played Weber State. They played Hawaii, but they've yet to give up a touchdown. But this is big for this offense. Take a little pressure off Avery Johnson. You've got a legitimate guy out of that backfield in Dylan Edwards. But this is a big get for a Chris Klieman team that is squarely behind the 8 ball with 2 losses through 3 games.
I was about to say you lose this one, and you're probably done in the Big 12 race.
Yeah.
I mean, it will be hard to dig back from an 0-2 start in the Big 12. Even as crowded as that conference is, even to dig back from an 0-2 start would be almost impossible.
Indiana State, Indiana, number 22 Hoosiers get your night going. 5:30 on the Big Ten Network. When you think Indiana State, you think Larry Bird, and that was the 70s. Colgate in Syracuse, 6 o'clock on the ACC Network. The other good game tonight is Colorado at Houston, 6:30, main ESPN. That's Deion Sanders' team, 1-1. They could play as many as 3 quarterbacks on the road in H-Town tonight. You get New Mexico and UCLA as well at 9 o'clock on the Big Ten Network tonight. And the Rose Bowl, where you'll get a chance to win a free car if you count and guess the correct number of people in the stands. No, I'm kidding. There's no contest tonight, but better chance of walking into a local grocery store and guessing the number of jelly beans in one of those big jars, or counting the number of people at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena tonight for New Mexico and UCLA.
I think you'd have a better chance at guessing the number of fans just because you know what the capacity is.
Yeah, so what do you think the UCLA capacity is? It's not the Rose Bowl capacity.
I would still say
5.
No, I think it's more than that.
I think they blocked off a lot of stuff.
I think they tarp one end zone pretty good.
Yeah. So probably 65 or 70. What do you think?
I mean, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, well,
what?
I would say 18 and change tonight.
Yeah, I was going to ask where you would set the total. So 18 and a half would be your total.
Well, they announced 35 for Utah,
and there was no way.
And Utah travels well, and there was no way there was 35 in there. I say 18 is a good announced number tonight. I would put the number probably at 9, actually.
And remember
9,000.
Any New Mexico fans that travel to Los Angeles aren't going to the game.
No.
Yeah. So they might get to a sports bar and kind of glance and sample it. This is such a big game, though, for Deshaun Foster, because you're about to hit that Big Ten schedule, and you're already 0-2, and you got completely embarrassed against a former Pac-12 foe in Utah. Then you made it respectable against UNLV. You were down early. You come back. You make it a 1-possession game, but you're still 0-2. Now you're a 14.5-point favorite at home against New Mexico. It's a game you need to win. You need to win impressively. I know you played New Mexico.
I did. Brown Bandit took New Mexico an upset alert.
I like UCLA. I ended up not playing this game, but I do like UCLA tonight.
Todd Fuhrman coming up. Inverness Country Club in a second. Let me tell you about Storm Restoration Roofing. That's Greg from Pell City. Your chance, guys, if you're watching or listening to us in Central Alabama, to get a free no-cost roof inspection. It's absolutely free. Greg and his family have owned this company. It's been locally owned for 20 years. He and his wife, Andrea, they run the company. They manage the company. He's got sons and sons-in-laws that are on crews. His daughter works for him. His family owned and operated, and he works to really lower the cost for you. It starts with great financing options if you need it. If your deductible gets too high, he works with insurance providers that'll help you. Plus, he gives you that free no-cost roof inspection, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. It is Storm Restoration Roofing. Check him out online, his website. Call that number in your screen or go to Facebook, Greg from Pell City, and our friends at Inverness Country Club.
They've got memberships that fit everyone, for the golf membership, the social membership. Maybe you work from home. How about working from the club while they watch your kid? Child care, massive plus from our friends at Inverness Country Club. You can always go online, check out more information, book that tour of this unbelievable club through our friend Aaron. Go to iccalabama.com. Best days happen at Inverness Country Club, iccalabama.com.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, company truck accident, a car accident, or work-related accident? Call Alabama's largest personal injury firm. Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys will fight for every dollar you deserve, and it won't cost you a dime. Trust me. What do you say, man?
Call me, Alabama.
Call 659-777-7777 or go to Shinara.com.
No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Ah, crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Catch up on all today's Next Round on demand through the podcast platform of your choice, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcast, wherever you listen. Always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you never miss any part of the Next Round.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Never miss anything from the Next Round when you listen on demand through the podcast platform of your choice. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcasts. Wherever you listen, always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you catch every part of the Next Round. Listen anywhere in the world at any time on the Next Round podcast feed and support the show by following, subscribing, and turning on automatic downloads on any podcast platform. Thanks for always making the Next Round a big part of your day.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
We expect Haynes King to play tomorrow for Georgia Tech as they play host to Clemson in one of the bigger games in the country, but his status is one thing you're watching this college football weekend. We'll talk to Todd Fuhrman about that after Brownie tells us about Breakline.
BreaklineOptics.com, that's the website to go to find great sunglasses to look great in the high school or college football stadiums as you head to tailgates and to the games. These things are made to last at Breakline Optics. Trust me, we have tried to destroy the frames on their challenge, and we could not do it. You won't be able to either. They're built to last. BreaklineOptics.com, BreaklineOptics.com. That is the website to go to. And right now you can save TNR30 is the code to save 30% at BreaklineOptics.com. Code TNR30 to save 30% when you go to BreaklineOptics.com.
All right, when Fuhrman jumps in and joins us, Tyler will let us know. Our Odie's question of the day is better quarterback in that Clemson-Georgia Tech game brought to you by our friends at Odie's. Is it Klubnik? Is it Haynes King the way they're playing right now?
I mean, the way they're playing right now, I think you would say Haynes King, I guess. I mean, we didn't even see Haynes play last week, was in concussion protocol. I mean, everybody is shedding right now on Clemson. And I can't believe how many people think Georgia Tech's going to win this game outright, and they might.
I'm telling you.
But, you know, Clemson hasn't looked great, but I don't really know who has looked great.
Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik, 104 in the QBR. That question brought to you by our friends at Odie's.
Hey, great place to hang out all weekend. You can check out live music tonight and tomorrow night, of course. Incredible food from Rodney Davis, almost 40 years now. The award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches like the Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Get in and see Will Haver and that great staff, 2 locations. The original Crestline, Edgewood as well. Birmingham Institution is Odie's Tavern.
All right, we continue live from Gallette's in Tuscaloosa as the Wisconsin fans starting to roll in a little bit, hanging out in Tuscaloosa. game tomorrow next door at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Todd Fuhrman is out in Vegas, and he joins us now on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline. What is up, Fuhrman? How are you today?
I'm doing well, gentlemen, but here, look, the bottom line is you guys shouldn't be booing Wisconsin fans. They have to live through the Danny O'Brien experience in earnest tomorrow, and that's going to be painful enough for the trip down to Tuscaloosa. But one thing real quick on Wisconsin, I know Wisconsin fans used to love coming out to Vegas to play UNLV early in the season. I'm not sure they realized how much their then head coach at the time liked to spend time at the tables. Wasn't coincidence that UNLV was a frequent non-conference game that Wisconsin fans could always look forward to.
Who was the head coach at the time? Was it Bielema?
It was Mr. Bielema. He happened to show up more often than not on some of our table games reports in and around the Caesars Entertainment properties.
Met his wife at a casino. That's where he got her. Yeah. Well, when you look at
this
game,
it all comes full circle.
The tables in.
That's a hard 8.
What, the wife?
Yeah.
Well, for Bielema, it was a 10. Though.
Yeah.
You got to score on differential there. Hey, when you look at the actual game, as Jim said, backup quarterback. This is a game Wisconsin lost 42-10 in Madison last year. I don't know what you take from ULM, but Alabama looked better against them. What do you see in Alabama favored by about 3 touchdowns right now at mybookie.ag over Wisconsin?
Yeah, for me, it's a lay it or don't play it type of game. I want no part of backing a Wisconsin team that's going to do everything they can to shorten the contest, try and limit possessions, and keep that Alabama offense on the sidelines. I'm just not sure they're able to do it. And while you mentioned, Brownie, Alabama's performance last week where they scored every single time they had the football against ULM, I'm not sure what we can actually take from it. Is it an improvement over the season opener against Florida State? No doubt about it. But when you're beating up on one of the lightweights in the Sun Belt, it comes with limited expectations. So if Alabama is able to replicate that and look as dynamic and explosive offensively this week as what we saw last week, then you start to build a little bit more optimism getting into conference play. But want no part of the dog here. It would be favorite or pass for sure.
Fuhrman, in another 11 o'clock early window game. We just talked about it before you jumped on. Clemson heading to Atlanta to take on Georgia Tech. Dunaway was asking who is the better quarterback. I think you can make the argument Haynes King might be that guy right now, the way Klubnik has played through 2 weeks. But when is the last time you could get Clemson this short as a favorite against Georgia Tech? I mean, it's been forever. They've won 9 straight in this series, and it seems like the public is starting to gravitate towards the Yellow Jackets. Is this a really good value play with Clemson early on?
Now, you mentioned Clemson and some of the success they've had against Georgia Tech. 9-0 straight up the last 9 meetings, but that's not where it matters most. 7-1-1 against the number in those 9 meetings as well. And there is no doubt Georgia Tech generating all sorts of buzz, pun intended there, as a live underdog against the Clemson team that has looked pretty pedestrian through their first 2 games of the season. I mean, completely inept offensively in their opener against LSU. You figure they'd bounce back and play with a chip on their shoulder like Alabama did against Troy, but it wasn't until they were able to create a short field and kind of flip that game that they started to get things going, didn't come anywhere close to covering as a 31-point favorite in that particular spot. And you can take 2 different approaches to this game. You can either think that, hey, look, Clemson's going to figure it out, and this is the ultimate buy low opportunity against a conference opponent that they have owned in recent meetings, or on the flip side, rather than to necessarily try and catch a falling knife, you think that Georgia Tech should actually be the favorite here because of the things that you mentioned. Haynes King having an extra week to rest his lower body injury that kept him out against Gardner-Webb, and a Georgia Tech team that has really thrived as an underdog against most teams under head coach Brent Pry. So for me, as I continue to dig into this particular matchup, just not enough to get involved in, but it is worth noting that before the season started, you'd have been looking at Clemson in this particular spot, a 9-point favorite, and even before last weekend's game against Troy, this number was closer to 6.5, 7.
Let's go down to Auburn. Ooh, what? The crowd's crazy. They're hosting in-state South Alabama. Fuhrman, are you getting value in Auburn here because of what South did against Tulane last week in a close loss?
Yeah, I'm not sure this is value per se in this particular spot, but yeah, South Alabama did play quite well against Tulane, built that early lead, and then tried to rally back with a 17-6 fourth quarter before coming up short. You know, Auburn in a little bit of a potential look-ahead spot, especially for Jackson Arnold, knowing what lies in wait to play Oklahoma next week. South Alabama more than capable offensively to kind of keep that back door open, and that's part of the reason that I think this total is actually a shade low. I know Auburn's defense looked phenomenal against Ball State, but that was the Ball State Cardinals, didn't score against Purdue the week before. I think South Alabama is going to move it. I think Auburn will have to try and do their fair share offensively, and I think this total is a shade low in that 53.5, 54 range.
Todd Fuhrman is with us, CBS Sports, and he was an odds maker there at Caesars Palace. He joins us every Friday during the season. We love talking about all the games with Fuhrman. He's on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline. Let's go to Georgia, Tennessee. I'll ask kind of the same question Lance asked. This has been one blowout after another, Fuhrman, with Tennessee getting blown out by Georgia basically 8 straight years. Yet here we go. Georgia right around a field goal favorite in Knoxville. Are we doubting the Dogs a little too much with that point spread?
Yeah, Tennessee's last win, to your point, Brownie, coming against Georgia back in 2016. It took a Josh Dobbs 43-yard Hail Mary to Jawan Jennings as time expired to get them across the finish line. And this game, for me, looks, at least on the surface, to be very similar to Clemson and Georgia Tech in terms of what the market has done versus where we would have expected this point spread to open, a few weeks ago. The difference here is that we have 2 data points for Clemson that we are really concerned about, and one of them they stepped up in class and just couldn't hold their own. Meanwhile, for Georgia, we haven't seen them pushed at all. Yes, people can want to panic that the offense didn't have any explosive playmaking potential against an FCS team in Austin Peay last week, or they looked, pretty vanilla in their opener against Marshall, while Tennessee does what Tennessee does. I mean, they beat up on cream puffs. I mean, Josh Heupel has been phenomenal covering numbers in non-conference games over the last few years, and we sees a team that just has inferior talent. He's going to run it up. I think this is a buy low opportunity for Georgia here, and while Gunnar Stockton will play his first game in a true road environment, no easy task, I think that Georgia's been holding their cards a little bit tight to the vest. You're going to see more Zachariah Branch out in space, and this Tennessee defense still dealing with some injuries for this particular matchup. The one interesting part is that Georgia hasn't exactly adjusted to Tennessee's tempo early in games. Typically, they'll settle down the deeper you get. So this game could start a little bit more offensive-minded than people think. But with this number hovering around 3.5, 4, the only way for me to look would be playing the road favorite, just knowing about the level of dominance they've displayed. 8 straight meetings versus Tennessee, all won by 14-plus points.
Let's stick in the SEC. I know Florida's coming off a tough loss, but LSU, if you go back to the Clemson game, not as impressive now. And especially in that first half. They dominated the second half. They got thrown around a little bit in the first half. Now, Florida catching 7.5, in which has been a weird, unpredictable rivalry over the years. Florida getting too many points in this spot.
Definitely an LSU win that loses some luster for Clemson. There is no doubt about it, and I think to LSU's detriment last week, they didn't exactly look great running the football. I mean, you dig into some of their numbers, 34 carries as a team for 128 yards. Number 1 running back, Caden Durham, 13 carries, 29 yards, a long of 5 yards against that vaunted Louisiana Tech defensive front. Doesn't always bode well for winning conference games and doing so by margin. This game, you're going to get Florida's absolute best after they were upset as an 18-point favorite against USF. Begs the question, is Florida's best good enough to win outright? Is it good enough to cover? That remains to be seen. Florida's the only way that I would want to look here. I'm a little bit frustrated with myself that I didn't grab the 10 that was out there earlier in the week. 7.5 loses a little bit of the zip on this particular game. But I do think there are some red flags on this Florida team that leave cause for concern. Let's see if they can get it sorted out in a conference game here, a chance for Billy Napier to earn some goodwill back. But tough game to try and handicap aside. I actually like the game under the total a bit. I'm not sure where the big plays come from on either side.
Okay, so Coca-Cola brings you part of our show today. We're in Tuscaloosa, and Bama fans know this. Cheering on the Tide can be thirsty business. Use our great friends at Coca-Cola. Zero sugar. Fan Day is thirsty time with Coca-Cola. All right, Fuhrman, I'm looking at the big Texas A&M Notre Dame game. Notre Dame, they can't go 0-2. Why did they not have a get-right game in between these two, and can they get right against the Aggies?
Notre Dame will have plenty of opportunities to rack up wins after this week. The problem being, if you lose this week against A&M, you might just be playing out the string, because 10-2 with that resume, probably not going to be enough to get you into the college football playoff unless there's full-blown chaos. But the bye week early on comes at the perfect time for Marcus Freeman, who has typically done a phenomenal job from an ATS perspective when he has extra time to prepare. Mike Elko has been one of the more overvalued coaches from a betting perspective of late. When you look at over 15-game sample size, I believe he has just 2 covers recently. And while A&M definitely improved their receiving core, I do have some concerns about this team along the defensive line that didn't look stout in their wins against UTSA and Utah State to start the season. We'll see if Marcel Reed's maturation really can be on full display in hostile territory. But at the same time, Notre Dame has to answer some questions in their defensive backfield as well against Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion. I know last year these teams played. It was an ugly, low-scoring rock fight type affair, 23-13. I think we could see a little bit more offense on display here. So I actually like this game over the total a bit. The only thing that would worry me is if the Irish make a concerted effort to get Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love going. Hopefully those turn into explosive runs, not 5 yards in a cloud of dust.
Todd Fuhrman, CBS Sports on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline. Let's talk about another night game in the SEC. Arkansas is taking on Tennessee. It is hard to judge this Ole Miss. Arkansas is taking on Ole Miss. It is tough to judge this Arkansas team because of their level of competition, but Fuhrman, against that level of competition, Taylon Green has been fantastic. I don't know if he can hold that up against Pete Golding's defense. A weird sentence to say for a lot of people here in Tuscaloosa who didn't like Pete Golding, but that defense for Ole Miss has played well.
They have played well with a lot of new faces on that defensive side of the ball. Ole Miss is an interesting team because coming into the year, the Rebels were sold in the regular season win total market. We saw them take substantial money against in their season opener against Georgia State, despite that 63-7 scoreline. And we saw Ole Miss take money against last week against Kentucky. So, gentlemen, it wouldn't surprise anybody that Ole Miss taking money against them this week against Arkansas as well. Number opened significantly higher than where it currently sits at 6.5. You mentioned this Arkansas offense, and Taylon Green has done what you'd want to see out of a quarterback against inferior competition. I mean, 72% completions, has avoided sacks, 10 touchdowns on his ledger, and Omega Blake looking like the next true number one wide receiver to kind of lead this Arkansas offense into the future. Ole Miss's biggest question for me isn't just how the defense responds here, it's who will be starting under center. Austin Simmons was a little bit banged up against Kentucky, wasn't out there late. And if anyone trusts Lane Kiffin to provide an accurate injury report, I have a nice piece of beachfront property to sell you in Omaha, Nebraska. So we'll see who's out there under center for the Rebels. This total has kind of been a battle. We saw it get as low as 61.5 up to 63. At 6.5, I can't make a case for Arkansas. I would lean towards Ole Miss, but should be a fun game. I wasn't selling the Rebel stock like everybody else, but I definitely wasn't a buyer. I think this game will tell us a lot more about these two teams than Ole Miss's victory against Kentucky last week and Arkansas drubbing an in-state rival in Ark State.
For those that did not pick up on Fuhrman's joke there, Austin Simmons not on the initial injury report. So we'll see. I don't expect that to change, but as Fuhrman says, you can't always go by the Lane Kiffin injury report.
He always knows the number. Quickly, Fuhrman, let's transition to the NFL. Let's start with Survivor Pool. You can't play the Ravens over the Cleveland Browns. Who would you take just to win the game outright this week?
You're exactly right, and I think that's the best piece of advice to offer people. You know, avoid the Ravens at all costs, and if you're in a pool with a lot of entrants, do everything you can to hope that you get a little bit of carnage, like the Ravens provided last year when they lost outright to the Las Vegas Raiders as an 8.5, 9-point favorite. You know, for me, I haven't really made a decision yet. You know, it kills me to say this, that I'm looking at the Arizona Cardinals because I trust Kyler Murray and company about as far as I can throw them to carry forward a decent performance in the wake of a game that I thought they should have lost last week against the Saints. You know, the Cowboys, they've taken money against in the betting market with the Giants, and I'd steer clear of the Jets. So if anything, I might start to gravitate towards the Detroit Lions. I haven't officially put in my Survivor pick yet, but that, at least on the surface, is closest for me as the way things stand now.
Well, my Jaguars looked good last week, though, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. You survived.
They did.
Yep.
They looked very good last week. The defense put together a complete effort against Bryce Young and company. A little bit concerned about what I saw in the passing game from Trevor Lawrence, but if you can run the football that well with Mr. Etienne in the backfield, it'll bode well. So let's see if they can carry some of that momentum forward this week. For Jags fans, I wouldn't get involved in that game from a Survivor perspective, though. That's for damn sure.
Until further notice, fade the fish. That's how you win a Survivor pool. You fade the fish.
Fade the Saints.
Hey, players only meeting after just 1 week. Players only meeting for Miami. So let's see if they get an all hands on deck type performance to try and right the ship after an 0-1 start.
That's going to fix everything. Players only meeting after 1 week.
No, Miami's actually my play this week. It was going to be the Rams, but I'm nervous. So Miami is my survival play against They're against the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
They're -1.5.
Miami. Miami's my play
Dunaway,
this
how many
week.
people? Dunaway, how many people do you
Listen,
have in
I've
your
got all these
survivor
good teams
pool?
left. If I get by this week, look at all the good teams I got left. Miami's my play this week.
How many people do you have in the survivor pool that you're taking such a contrarian approach out of the gate?
It's imaginary with you. I'm just
you and
I'm still alive. You're,
There
you're
we
still
go.
alive.
There we
Let's
go.
see if you can make it
Well,
out of
I'm
the week.
glad
Who's
you
your
pro-
play this week?
Yeah. I told you I don't have one yet. I didn't know I had to come in armed with a survivor play on Friday. I'd like to do a little bit more
Just go
work.
with Detroit.
I'm Miami. So, okay, big money Vegas
in our,
guy.
in
Let's
our,
go.
our fictitious pool.
Text me
All right, I'll
yours
take
before
Detroit
they
then
play
in
the
our
game.
fictitious
Miami's
pool.
mine. I'm about to go 2-0.
Unreal what I got to deal with on Friday morning.
Really says. Hey, before you go, Fuhrman, Daniel wants us to ask you for some reason about Air Force in Utah State. I'm assuming Daniel has some action on this.
Oh, we got to get Fuhrman's big
Well,
play.
we will.
San Diego State last week.
Air Force, Utah State. You got an opinion on that? Then we'll get you under the radar.
Middle eight for San Diego State, getting outscored 16-0, and that game was as dead as doornails, unfortunately. Mountain West letting me down. Air Force took some money early on as a 4-point favorite out to 4.5. Utah State's a team that I actually want to be buying as the season progresses. There's not a coach in the Mountain West that I think can do more with less than Bronco Mendenhall, and we saw what New Mexico looked like when they figured things out. I'm not sure this is a game where I'm running to back Utah State. I can understand why we've seen a little bit of under money. And Air Force is a team I was relatively high on, but laying points with them on the road in conference isn't something I feel that comfortable. So lean under and no strong feel on the side in this game.
All right. What about an under the radar pick? People love it, Fuhrman. You got one that's under that. I mean, Air Force, Utah State's pretty under the radar, but I didn't want an opinion on that one. You got one?
Yeah, it's a game that'll actually go tonight. We'll see if a late night game on the West Coast can actually do us favors. And this is scary to lay double digits with a UCLA offense that hasn't been good through the first two games. But I did see a little bit of a spark from them in the second half against UNLV. Defense clamped down on the Rebels, and they look to be getting their feet under them under Nico's leadership. This is a game I think they need a convincing win. There'll be about 9 people in attendance in Pasadena, so there won't be any home field advantage. But I think UCLA laying the 15 against New Mexico is the best of a lean board. So, this wouldn't be a full position play for me under the radar. I know it has been a sluggish start. This would be more of a half position, but just very lean with some of the options, knowing that Delaware was actually where I wanted to go early in the week. But you know me, guys, I'm a freeze to give out a bad number, and 10.5 down to 7.5, 8 isn't worth giving it out as a play.
All right, Todd Fuhrman, at Todd Fuhrman on social media, CBS Sports. I swore I wasn't going to do it all football season. I did it. CBS Sports. He is with us on the Alexander Shinard Trial Attorneys Hotline. Thank you very much, Fuhrman. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games.
You got it, gentlemen. You guys do the same.
All right, buddy. Take care. That is Todd Fuhrman with us on the Shinara Hotline.
All right. LT is going to tell us about Michelson, and then they're going to introduce you to a guy you're familiar with. You need to get used to seeing a little bit in the seat here. But tell us about Michelson.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. Got the procedure done in 2003. Been 22 years ago. Wore the glasses, wore the contacts, wasting money each and every year on the contacts and solution. Make the phone call that I made. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. 205-969-8100. For more information, you can always go online. Go to michelsonlaservision.com.
All right. You guys that have been around us a long time know our buddy Mick Gillespie, and you're going to get to know Mick a little bit more on our platform because you're going to see a lot more of Mick on our platform. First of all, how are you today, Mick? Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm great, man. Great. Good to see you guys. And what an awesome setting here, man.
Yeah.
Killer.
Yeah, Gallette. You're not going to beat Gallette.
I said, look, you were in school when I was in school, a little bit after me. But I said the biggest transformation in Tuscaloosa when we came on this show today is the bathrooms in Gallette's. Like if you didn't come to Gallette's back in the day, it was a trough, but there was slush. There was just shit everywhere. It was, and the toilet's always backed up. And now they're beautiful. Look at Jeff just bringing them to you.
Is that a hammer?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm hanging with you guys,
Brown's never had one.
I've never had one.
Oh, let me tell you.
I'll take one.
The original home. The official home of the Yellow Hammer.
I'm about to try my
right here at Gallette's.
Yeah.
But I mean, the bathroom, I'm not making this up. I mean, the bathroom was disgusting back in the day.
It was terrible. And we all have our old Gallette's bathroom trough story, like crossing streams.
Yeah.
It really happened in there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It did. And nobody even thought twice about it.
He knows what I'm talking about. You would get in there, it'd be like a line. And sometimes you just, and there was a lot of bad things.
A lot of bad things that happened.
Yeah. But I mean, beautiful location.
It's a totally rebuilt place now.
Yeah.
Oh, that tastes like, basically it tastes like orange juice.
Yeah.
These
they go down fast.
I was about to say these can get you in trouble quickly.
I think it's kind of if I was summing it up, I would say a screwdriver with pineapple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yep.
A
It's like,
screwdriver with pineapple?
yeah. It's like orange juice.
Yellow
and
hammer.
pineapple. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff said, a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can take some.
They're very
pineapple.
good.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. So anyway, you're with us today because we're going to make an announcement that we got some new content coming to the Next Round platform. It is the last call, part of our family now, and it's going to be on demand. The actual last call show is going to be on demand a couple nights a week to begin with, or a couple days a week to begin with. Whenever you watch it, it's on demand. But we're going to have some fun.
Yeah, look, Jay Coker and I were always worried when we started doing stuff with Disrupt that maybe we'd get fired, because we get on there and kind of cut up a lot.
Just the opposite.
And it's been the opposite. Yeah. So
that's how you're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. No, we're really excited. I mean, this is, really an awesome day to be able to talk about this and to team up with you guys as we were doing before, but now even be on your channel, so thank you.
Yeah,
for
I
having us.
remember the first conversation I had with Mick, and it was probably 2013, 14, something like that, a little more than a decade ago. I remember sitting in my car in my driveway, having a conversation. It was back when we were doing terrestrial radio with Jocks, and Mick, had a show, and we brought that show over to Jocks, and we've just, we've partnered up with Mick since, and so excited about this. You were in this town all of the time doing, well, first of all, you're all over the place. You do the Smokies play-by-play.
That's right.
You're doing pre and post Alabama tailgates.
Yep.
And so literally, you're in a different town every day, it seems like, doing some sort of a show.
Yeah, YouTube channels, the Cubs baseball channel, the Bama tailgate, doing stuff there. Now teaming up with you guys as before, but that's how this business is. I mean, you kind of do a bunch of different stuff and you get involved in a lot of areas, but I worked for the Crimson Tide Sports Network for years. SEC Network did play-by-play for them for a long time. I'm an OG when it comes to this town. I'm over here hanging out and we're reminiscing about.
Used to be a bartender at Boo Radley's, right?
Boo Radley's.
Him and Heath.
Yeah.
Did I tell you that? The specialist.
That's amazing.
Meat.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you and Jake Coker, it's gonna be on demand at least twice a week to begin with. So you and Jake, and it's not just Alabama football. You're gonna do everything. We'll talk a lot of college football, NFL, crazy stuff, goof off, all that.
Yeah, just like this. I mean, he likes to show that there's more to him than just football.
That's right. Yeah.
And I'm all about that, because I'm like, look, I'll take it wherever you want to take it. And the funny thing is that the Floor Bama brought us together, right? Which we all love the Floor Bama.
Yep.
And that's kind of the vibe that we've tried to create on our shows. When we get together, it's like sitting at the Floor Bama and, we're talking about whatever pops into our mind. Obviously Alabama football being at the top of the list in football, but other stuff too, man. We're multidimensional.
He is legitimately such a humble, just great, fun, all-American guy. And so he wouldn't be able to answer this because he would be like, that's not me. But could you make the argument he is the most underrated quarterback in Alabama football history?
Probably so, because
I'm thinking, if we go one season, snapshot of one season, I think you could definitely make that argument.
He had the best running back in Alabama history behind him, and Lane Kiffin knew that. And to Lane Kiffin's credit, he's like, I'm going to give it to that guy till he can't run anymore. And guess what? That guy's still running to the NFL. He's never broken down. So, Jake got overshadowed by that a lot, and a ton wasn't asked of him. But once they got to that postseason, a lot was asked of Jake Coker, and he delivered every time. So, yeah, I would agree.
I thought they made a mistake not starting him in 2014.
Instead of Blake Sims.
I thought Blake was great too, but he could have done a lot of things. But he could have done a lot of things different, not having the quarterback. Jake, to me, I just like a quarterback that can throw the deep ball consistently. I remember doing the tailgate show with Baron Hooper and Mike Johnson back then, and not knowing Jake from Adam's house cat, but just saying, hey, I think this guy can win a championship. Blake did great too, and I'm not taking anything away from him. Jake won a national championship, and in the biggest games of that season, he played his best football. Think if he would have had another season like that, or that would have started earlier. Lane Kiffin was kind of late to the believing table. Nick Saban was too. But I agree with you. I think he is one of the most underrated quarterbacks, not because he's my friend, but because I covered the team back then.
Well, stay tuned. So last call, Jake Coker, Mick Gillespie will give you more information, programming notes, when those shows will drop. But also, tailgate show is going to be coming up in a couple of weeks. You obviously follow this team extremely close. In less than a minute, obviously, week one was awful. Week two, they did what they needed to do, 77-0 over Louisiana Monroe. Now you got a Big Ten team coming on campus tomorrow, 11 o'clock kick against Wisconsin. How do you feel like this season will unfold year 2 under Kalen DeBoer?
I think it's a tough schedule, first off. I mean, there's a lot of good teams on that schedule. Bama's going to have to be disciplined. They're going to have the same focus that they had last week. This is another measuring stick game, and then go down to Georgia. They can't look ahead. But I love the fact that they stuck with the run. I mean, Ryan Grubb's going to get better as a play caller as he kind of sees what this team is and what the league is, right? Run the ball, and then obviously Ty Simpson's a lot more accurate than we thought, 17-17. I thought he really managed the team well. I like Latsier Brooks in the slot. I don't want Ryan Williams there. I want him on the outside. I think you could utilize him. Bama's got a ton of depth at wide receiver. And then Riley, having him at the running back spot to me is the most important thing that happened on this team, because he was like the 5th string guy, and now he's the starter. You got to work your ass off to get on the field. That's how it was with Nick Saban, and I hope that that's the way it's going to be with Kalen DeBoer. I don't know exactly what to think, other than they have the talent to be successful.
Yeah. All right, last call. It will be Mick Gillespie and Jake Coker. We will have it on demand. We'll let you know when that thing starts to drop, but set your alerts and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Next Round Live, and so you will always get your alerts when stuff like that drops, and you can enjoy just hearing those two goofballs cut up like we all do. It's fun, and then the post game starting soon. All right.
Yeah, we want Dunaway on one of our podcasts.
Dunaway's going to be on there. Dunaway,
down in Fairhope.
I'd make that your first guest.
We both have targeted him as the one guy that we want to get in the studio
Dunaway?
For a 2-hour podcast.
All right.
Sorry, maybe you next, Lance.
Okay.
Ryan.
Wow, I'm third. All right. All right, Mick, good to see you, buddy, as always.
Hey, roll Tide.
All right, Dr. B bringing you part of the show today before we talk some spreads and get to the pick 3. Dr. B.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Whenever you start thinning out, be preemptive. Not only maintain what you got, grow some back. Dr. Beckenstein, best in the business for more than 20 years, helping men and women out. T3's got that test. Easy, painless, affordable, takes seconds to perform to find out what is going on. Again, a lot of men and women ordering Hims, other products online. Don't even know if they work. T3hair.net. Stop wasting critical time and your money on things that aren't working. I'm speaking from experience. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. My hair is more than doubled in thickness. T3hair.net. for more information.
All right, let's take a look at some point spreads from mybookie.ag, where we'll tell you about that bet back bonus at mybookie.ag when you use code NEXTROUND. Code NEXTROUND at mybookie.ag is going to save you because they're going to do that bet back bonus. If you make a bet up to $500 and you lose that first bet, they put it right back into your account to play. mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. Alabama, a 21-point favorite over the Wisconsin Badgers. Crimson Tide in Wisconsin, a 45.5 total. Alabama, a 3-touchdown favorite. Auburn, 25-point favorites over USA, a total of 54. Right now, Clemson, a 3-point favorite over Georgia Tech and Atlanta. Georgia, a 4-point favorite as they travel to Knoxville against Tennessee. Again, play all those games. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND, where you've got that $500 bet back bonus when you sign up and use code NEXTROUND. You make your first bet, you lose up to $500. They put it right back into your account when you go to mybookie.ag and use code NEXTROUND. The pick 3 kicks off next as we're live at Gallette's in Tuscaloosa.
Yo, kinfolk, what's good, man? Let me holler at you for a minute. You know how life can be life. You're out there chasing that dollar. Every dollar is accounted for going somewhere. Then all of a sudden, bam! Out of nowhere, a car accident. All I had to do was hit up my people at Alexander Shinara Trial Attorney. You already know when that dude Alex pulls up the trial, he shuts down the litigation situation. Yo, go to Shinara.com. Hit him up at 659-777-7777.
Call me, Alabama.
No representation that legal services provided are better than any other provider.
All right. It's a beautiful day for football here at the stadium, and we're just about ready for kickoff. Score 0-0. And suddenly, I'm in the mood for a Coke Zero Sugar. Real Coke taste, zero sugar. Now that's a winning combo. Yeah, crisp, refreshing. That hits the spot. When it comes to great taste, Coke Zero Sugar's always on the scoreboard. Coke Zero Sugar. Real Coke taste, zero sugar.
Sterling and the fine folks at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster want to welcome you in for a great lunch or dinner starting at 11 a.m. every day. Chicken that's brined overnight and cooked to order, and the taste of the Delta with those Delta recipe tamales. Champies is perfect for all your tailgating needs this football season. You can also choose Champies for your next party, wedding, or birthday. Great food, great people. Champies Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster, and everything online at champieschicken.com.
Next Round shirts, Next Round hoodies, and Next Round hats all in one place, nextround.store. Find your favorite piece of gear from your favorite show and put it in your rotation. You never know, you might be in one of our videos showing Next Round gear being worn all over the world. Find all of your favorite Next Round gear by visiting nextround.store. Place an order for you and that big Next Round fan in your life at nextround.store. Look your best at work, at school, at the stadium, or anywhere you go wearing Next Round gear from nextround.store.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Next Round shirts, Next Round hoodies, and Next Round hats are all in one place. Nextround.store. Find your favorite piece of gear from your favorite show and put it in your rotation. You never know, you might be in one of our videos showing Next Round gear being worn all over the world. Find all your favorite Next Round gear by visiting Nextround.store. Place an order for you and that big Next Round fan in your life at Nextround.store. Look your best at work, at school, at the stadium, or anywhere you go wearing Next Round gear from Nextround.store.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hour number 2 rolls on from Gallette. Tell us about this place, LT, and our fine friends at Bud Light.
Yeah, our friends at Bud Light, we're down here. They've got tons of merch giving away. We've got a Bud Light wheel. I've seen people spinning over there.
Wisconsin fans over there spinning. We got some whiskey fans have stumbled in.
Yeah, they've got really, really good collared, embroidered shirts.
Yeah.
They've got the sweatshirts. They've got custom made, a lot of hats, a lot of T-shirts, a lot of Alabama gear from our friends at Bud Light. And, of course, some of the best Bud Light pricing at Gallette's right here on the Strip, home of the Yellowhammer, the original Yellowhammer that Brown is having his first ever.
Very tasty.
At the, I don't want to say newly remodeled. I think it's been about 8-10 years now that they remodeled this, but beautiful location. And not Camel Toe, but Camel Crush. Do you want me to tell you what kind of music they play?
Yeah, what is it?
My buddy Derek Purdy, we've been friends for 30 years. Fraternity brother of mine, one of the owners here, one of the owners at Innisfree. He said, I just saw the segment, laughing my ass off. Camel Crush is a DJ.
So we thought maybe Southern Rock.
Yeah.
Maybe jam band. It's an actual DJ.
It's a DJ.
Okay. Well,
And remember, when it comes to the best Big Ten septic and excavating company in the world, go to Desmet, where sleeves are not needed.
Look at this guy going sleeveless.
Dude, he ain't thinking about wearing sleeves.
Belleville, Wisconsin.
This is like the balmy desert for Wisconsin fans.
Desmet septic and excavating in Belleville.
I mean, what is kick going to be tomorrow? 85?
Probably.
85 at kickoff at 11 a.m. kick, and Alabama obviously a 3-touchdown favorite in this game. My question to you before you tell us about CPAP. CPAP sort of makes you sleep really smooth, is Wisconsin. Is Wisconsin going to come in here and try to sleep, lull Alabama into sleep, play slow, milk the clock, limit the possession?
Old school Brett Bielema.
The bad news for Wisconsin fans is Alabama got their wake-up call week 1 in Tallahassee. I mean, they've got to play with energy. They got to play with urgency. You saw it last week. I know it was Louisiana Monroe. These Wisconsin fans, they're in for a good time. They know this second game they've ever played in the state of Alabama. They know what's coming, though. Luke Fickell's a nice guy. They know at the end of the year, 3, 4, maybe 5 wins. Probably Luke Fickell's last year. He's going to be a hot commodity. This guy would agree with me, right? Yeah. Luke Fickell's last year.
If this were old school Wisconsin that just ran right up your throat, and made you like it?
Oh, if you had Ron Dane back there.
You didn't have to have him. You could have any of those other running backs they had. You just have to have that philosophy. That would be tricky for Alabama, but they don't do that anymore.
Biggest mistake in Wisconsin football history.
Going to Phil Longo.
Trying to change the offense.
Yeah, when they went Phil Longo.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can't. I mean, Nebraska tried it with Bill Callahan. I mean, sometimes it's.
You are what you are.
Yeah, I mean, it's square peg, round hole, right?
Yeah. You don't turn a pickup truck and try to make it a sports car.
That's right. No, you're absolutely right. And the Bill Callahan's the best example of that. It was awful at Nebraska.
Yeah. Wisconsin will be back, just not this weekend. That gets us to our pick 3. Before we play the song, though, tell us about CPAP as Wisconsin comes in and tries to lull Alabama to sleep.
Dunaway talked about how important sleep is for your health. Look, nobody wants to get the sleep study done. Pain in the ass. You don't want to deal with the lab. You don't want to deal with the insurance. Guess what? From our friends at CPAP Plus, the O'Neill brothers, no lab, no insurance, Alabama's best home sleep testing and CPAP. It's all available for $199. Great website, sleephomealabama.com. That is sleephomealabama.com. Just easy to wear fingertip devices, clinically validated, that connect to your smartphone, complete with a physician's interpretation of your results. Get into one of those 5 locations throughout the state or online for more information. No lab, no insurance, sleephomealabama.com.
Pick 3, it's time for the pick 3. 3 for you and 3 for me, that equals a pick 3. Say goodbye to your family, it's time for the pick 3. Only time that I'm happy is when it's time for pick 3.
The pick 3 is brought to you by our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Before LT tells us about Buffalo Wild Wings, Forrester, why don't you show us the standings and pretend we're on a little bit of a delay? Why don't you just read them to us? Why don't you just tell us the standings, Forrester?
We have a 3-way tie at the top.
Yeah. Yes.
We got
tie at the top. All
we
right.
got Brooks,
what are they?
Jim, and LT all at 4 and 2. Okay. I'm at 3 and 3. Ryan Brown bringing up the back of the pack, 2 and 4.
Well, yeah, I'm laying in the weeds. I'm going to strike when ready. You guys are going to get all overconfident. I'm going to catch you. Don't worry.
Okay, Buffalo Wild Wings brings us to pick 3, 4 and 2, 4 and 2, 4 and 2. Then Forrester, much like his NFL team, very 500. And then Brown, much like his NFL team, below 500. Tell us about Buffalo Wild Wings, and I'll give you my pick. I think I'm doing something today I haven't done in 15 years.
Oh, really? Getting a 3-0?
We give you the pick 3. It is also where we give you the pick 3 here, we give you the pick 6 from our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Here's the pick 6. Ultimate meal for 2. 2 entrees, 2 sides, 2 drinks. You can get the 26 sauces and seasoning, spicy sauce, grilled crispy chicken dippers, the hand-smashed double-stacked all-American cheeseburger with a side of fries, tots, potato wedges. Pick 6 meal for 2 at participating locations all weekend long. Get into one of those great locations of Buffalo Wild Wings.
All right, so the way we're playing it now, I've done it wrong all along.
That's right. Here we go.
I take it to 2.5.
That's right. You can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. If it's 2.5, I'm taking Clemson at Georgia Tech. Give me the Clemson Tigers if it's 2.5. 3 is the number, I believe.
At this moment, mybookie.ag has Clemson favored by 3 at Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Code next round to get that $500 bet back bonus at mybookie.ag. Clemson, a 3-point favorite.
So Clemson is my play there.
2.5.
I literally think they win the game by 3. So
okay, so it's good.
I love his
that's good. Yeah. Good. It is
no wiggle room. I'm going to take my survivor pool. I'm taking the Dolphins -1.5.
Yeah, but if I survive, I get all those good teams left.
That's right.
Number 2 play here. I'm taking South Carolina by 50.
South Carolina.
I think I'm getting them at 2.5. I think they run Vandy out of the stadium.
Well,
it hadn't dropped that far. I mean, I've never seen it drop below 4.
Hang on, I've got it right here, 3.5. So you got to play it at 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah. South Carolina. If you think they run them out of the stadium, you shouldn't care. 3.5.
I saw it at 3, but I'll go 3.5. Yes,
3.5. I talked to a South Carolina fan, one of the few I know, on my way over to Tuscaloosa today, and he is extremely nervous about this game because of the common opponent. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with you, but, I think sometimes you can read too much into common opponent. But he was like, man, we struggled against Virginia Tech, and Vandy whipped them in the second half.
Yeah, Vandy is second in the conference in yards per play.
Yep.
They scored on the final 5 drives, 5 consecutive touchdowns in that game to beat Virginia Tech on the road there. That just is too easy.
You know what?
Give me the other side, South Carolina.
You know what the South Carolina fan said to me today? He said, and Diego Pavia is scrappy, and scrappy guys scare me.
Yeah.
He is scrappy.
He's scrappy. I called him Scrappy. I said, it's Scrappy Doo.
Yeah. I thought that was somebody else.
Connor. No, that's what I said. A guy on our show calls him Scrappy Doo.
Oh, I thought that he called that.
Oh, yeah. No, he didn't.
The Florida State quarterback.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what he called Thomas Castellano.
Yeah, I think.
Pavia is more Scrappy Doo to me.
Pavia is more like a
bulldog.
Well, yeah, but he's kind of a John Mateer, really, really light.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really?
Or really, really heavy.
Yeah, it's true, thicker.
Yeah. And then there's this Wisconsin-Alabama game. I'm going to take Alabama, and I'm going to give the points.
We got it at 21, so you play that at 20.5.
20.5 is what I'm going to take it. That's even better. 20.5. So I don't know. Maybe I took Alabama one time at the rabbit hole last year down the street here.
So what are you doing?
I think you've taken Alabama.
First time in 15 years you're doing what?
I think I'm taking Alabama. I haven't taken Alabama.
Never take them.
In the pick 3. I never do.
Yeah.
But I'm taking them today.
Yeah, I do think you say you want to stay away from that because of the landmine potential.
Yeah.
But my gosh, they're a 3-touchdown favorite over Wisconsin.
Yes. Give me Clemson, South Carolina, and Alabama.
All right.
In my pick 3. LT is also a leader. You got yours ready to go yet?
Oh, I mean, I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get yours.
I'll start Jaden Maeva, the most balanced offense, the leader in total offense, scoring offense.
I got this one too.
USC, I am laying the 20.5, going to West Lafayette. Ryan Brown will have a little success, not you, but the other Ryan Brown, the quarterback for Purdue.
I've had very little success.
Yeah. I think Purdue can scratch out 14 or 21 on this defense, but this is a name your score game for USC in this offense. They are absolutely popping right now. So many different weapons. I am also going to play Darian Mensah, getting it right against his former team in Tulane. You guys are going to have to help me out with these numbers.
I'll find it.
I think they're -1. Yeah.
Tulane right now is -2, so you can play it at 1.5.
Or I can catch it +2.5.
Or +2.5.
Yeah, plus,
you like Duke.
Yeah, I will take Duke +2.5 on the road. I think Mensah's got to protect the football, but this is a get-right game for Duke on the road against a team that maybe a little bit better than advertised right now with Tulane. And then finally, the nightcap, 9:30 ESPN, PJ Fleck in Minnesota. I think this number's 2.5. You can check it at Cal. Cal has overachieved to this point. Minnesota will be ready. They will play airtight football. This is one of my favorite games of the day.
Minnesota is 2.5, total of 41.5. I was going to bring that game up in the sneaky good game, but both of you had it in the sneaky good game. All 3 of us almost had it. I switched off to Memphis and Troy. The reason I was going to bring it up is I always give sneaky good games to a bunch of offense when it comes total points. The total in this Minnesota Cal game is 41.5, which is an NFL total. I mean, that is a low-scoring college football game to have a total of 41.5.
Yeah, and I think this is like a 24-10 game.
See, I like San Pululute and Cal to win it 20-17.
Oh, so you're on the other side from
I am
LT.
on the other side,
all right,
of that game. So those are ours. Before Brown gives us his pick 3, we'll, of course, get Brooks and Forrester's at the end of the show. We need to tell you about the great folks there at Alabama Power. Brownie, tell us about Alabama Power.
Yeah, Alabama Power, not just keeping you safe in storms, keeping the power on in storms. They're also a great member of our community, and they want to keep our community looking great. And that is why that they do everything they can to help renew the rivers. Since 2000, Renew the Rivers, coordinated by Alabama Power, has grown into one of the nation's largest river cleanups. It started as a community cleanup along the Coosa. It's grown into a movement. More than 104,000 volunteers. They've removed more than 13.5 million pounds of trash from Alabama's waterways. You want to keep Alabama beautiful? Help out Alabama Power. Check out the 2025 cleanup schedule at alabamapower.com/renew our rivers.
And Bama fans, if you're looking to spend your dollar on a good-looking set of gear, you go to the Pants Store down the street here in Tuscaloosa, but you also can get it in Huntsville and Auburn, Birmingham, and anywhere in the world at pantsstore.com. They got your Alabama and Auburn polo hats and quarter zips, and those famous name brands are there too. Horn Legend, Cutter and Buck, Antigua, Gentile. The Roll Tide War Eagle there for the ladies as well. The white sneakers, the platforms. It's not going to be too long. We're going to be thinking about Halloween and Thanksgiving. The fall boots are there, rompers and the perfect dress, all with free alterations and gift wrapping, all at the Pants Store, pantsstore.com, pantsstore.com for all your game day needs. Brownie, tell us your pick three.
Yeah, I've got a couple crossovers with you guys. I just think Clemson and Georgia are going to play their best games of the year. Everybody's doubting Clemson. And I'm not going to say everybody's doubting Georgia, but enough people are doubting Georgia. A lot of people are. I just think we have pulled the chute on these two teams way too quickly. Now, I feel worse about Clemson because Klubnik has been bad. I don't know that Gunnar Stockton has been that bad. He just hasn't done a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing. Mike Bobo, what are you really going to show against Marshall and Austin Peay?
Yeah.
This is the game they've been waiting for. They have got more weapons, in my opinion, or the most weapons they've had since they won a national championship with Bowers and Ladd McConkey.
Yeah, so I'm with Dunaway on Clemson minus the 2.5. And I'm going to check this Georgia-Tennessee. I get Georgia minus 3.5. So give me Georgia minus 3.5, Clemson minus 2.5. And then Dunaway, I'm with LT. Purdue is one of the worst Power 4 teams in all of football. USC's offense is clicking. They're not going to score that kind of point, those kind of points on the road at Purdue, but they'll score plenty, and Purdue will be no match. So give me USC. I got Clemson, Georgia, and USC.
You get to see the best uniforms in football tomorrow on the road in West Lafayette.
That USC white, road white, and the best
and
fight.
The yellow pant.
You think their band will travel? It's the best fight song in football, too.
Band will travel. Yeah, they got Big Ten money now.
Well, they're going to play a lot of times if they're going to travel because they will destroy Purdue.
The Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3 continues now. Let's focus in more on that Georgia-Tennessee game up there at Neyland Stadium, where you get an opportunity now to see Gunnar Stockton versus Joey Aguilar. And it's been all Joey Ag all season long. They've loved him. But Kirby's talking about his quarterback, Gunnar Stockton here. Kirby Smart, don't worry about the big plays. There's one other kind of play he's looking for.
Oh, crap.
I like big plays, so I would prefer the big play, but correct play sometimes doesn't always lead to a big play. But we talk about result versus process, and we don't want to get caught up in the result. Yes, we want a big play, but I want to go through the process of doing the right things, and sometimes you do the right process, you don't get the right result. Sometimes you do, and you don't do the process right, and we're very intentional on making sure they understand doing the right process leads to big plays and leads to more success than just checking results. And that's, I think, what you're talking about.
Kirby Smart likes big plays, and he will not lie. But so far, it's been about sort of that Michigan way of playing football back in 2023. That's what's wrong if that's all Georgia is. If it's just you control Gunnar Stockton, let him not make mistakes, and you just win very slow and concise. And
Nate Frazier running football, Oscar Delp, utilizing the tight end. I think you can do this, but you've got other weapons. Noah Thomas is a weapon. Zachariah Branch is a weapon. Dylan Bell is a weapon.
Are they really weapons? Or are they unknown weapons?
I think they're unknown. I think Zachariah Branch is a weapon. He is just
How good was he at USC?
He was underutilized. He just didn't get a lot of touches. When he got touches, he was electric. He just didn't get a lot. And, whether he'll get the right touches in space, we shall see. But Kirby Smart is the best active coach right now in college football. He has absolutely owned Josh Heupel. Heupel, give him credit. He is one of the better coaches in football. They have converted every single trip to the red zone this year. But you brought this up. McCoy and Gibson, your starting cornerbacks are out. And you've got an offense that is averaging 5.3 yards per attempt. They haven't gone downfield at all. Now you've got an opportunity. And look, James Pierce and those edge guys aren't back for Tennessee. So I don't think they can get the pressure on Stockton. I'm not going to be surprised. And we said this yesterday, day before on the next round. I think much better chance that Georgia wins this game going away than Tennessee pulling off the upset as a 3.5-point underdog.
So we're talking Gunnar Stockton. Let me give you these numbers, and you tell me how yucky these numbers are through 2 games, all right? 60% completion percentage. Is that yucky?
It ain't good.
Yeah. All right. 465 yards, which is just 232 a game. Is that yucky?
That ain't good.
5 touchdowns, 2 picks. Is that yucky?
That ain't good.
I just gave you Arch Manning's numbers, not Gunnar Stockton's. Gunnar Stockton's are better in some of those categories. Gunnar Stockton has a better completion percentage, 69%. He's thrown for just about the same amount of yardage. He's thrown for the same yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Yards per game, pretty close. So you tell me.
I don't know if you remember. I told you half this league is better right now than Arch Manning.
You did tell me that, but I'm saying we focus so much on what Gunnar Stockton hasn't done. His numbers in Arch Manning's aren't that different.
Yeah, but Gunnar Stockton hasn't gone to Columbus.
Get it. He has not played Ohio State. I get it. But my point is, I just don't think
can't be much worse though if he went to Columbus.
I don't think Mike. Yeah, I mean, is he going to do worse than what Arch?
Are they going to score 7 points? I don't think Georgia gets shut out in Columbus.
No, I think he would probably do the same thing Arch Manning did in Columbus. My point there, and I was going to bring up, he hasn't gone to Columbus, but again, Mike Bobo hasn't had to unleash Gunnar Stockton. Now, when he unleashes him, I don't know what he's going to be. But I think Mike Bobo has just kind of played it safe, and it's probably a lot of his head coach wanting him to do that.
It is his first road start, Gunnar Stockton. He does it in front of 100,000 plus at Neyland Stadium tomorrow, 2:30. Game day's already there, so Kirby Smart gets asked about Gunnar's first road start. Here's what the Georgia head coach had to say.
I think it's going to be great. I mean, it's something that we practice for all year round. I don't believe in waiting until the week of the game. You know, we do it in spring. We do it all preseason camp. We put a lot of pressure on the players in practice to communicate. A lot of times it's to keep both sides of the ball from hearing each other talk. So we want there to be – I don't want them to hear their coaches talk. So you got to crank it up, and it almost becomes the norm to do that. But there's also a defense over there that you're trying to simulate, and that's hard to simulate because they are very good defensively. They create a lot of issues, very intelligent with their defensive staff in terms of protections, looks. They know what you're thinking, and they try to counter that. So that's the hurdle for us offensively that we all have to get over, is making sure we understand what they're trying to do and understand what we're trying to do and do it better than they do it.
Yeah, average score, though, in Knoxville, and you know this, LT, because you've been talking about the potential of Georgia blowing out Tennessee. 41-10 the last 4 meetings. You combine the scores, that's the average score. Georgia beating Tennessee up in Knoxville. In 12 of the last 13, it's been 30 or more points they've scored on the road. Can they get 30 tomorrow in Knoxville?
Yes. I think they will get 30. Like, it's one of these things that I'm going to take a look at tonight, doing a deep dive on some team totals. What are you seeing that total at for the game right now in Knoxville?
Currently, Georgia and Tennessee is just the overall total. The game total is 50. Georgia's currently at mybookie.ag favored by 4, a total of 50.
So Georgia 26.5 is probably their team total. Yeah. So right around there. I think it will play over. Hey, look, even going back to the Mark Richt days. So we talk about 8 straight for Kirby, but they've won 19 of 25 in this series. I mean, even before Kirby, they were dominating Tennessee.
The show today being brought to you in part by our great friends at Twin Peaks as well, LT. If you're in the Birmingham area near the Galleria, the Twin Peaks is there for you, especially this Sunday.
Yeah, hey, wherever you're listening to us, there's probably a Twin Peaks location right around the corner, home of the 29-degree draft beer, happy hour, fantastic, great bourbon selection, tequila selection, all those signature cocktails, Twin Peak girls running around everywhere. Get in for lunch or dinner. They've got the extra innings package. They've got the NFL Sunday ticket. All the college games will be on. But find you at Twin Peaks, nestle in all weekend, and enjoy lunch or dinner.
All right, so one more game before we take our next break. LT will do our headlines coming up in the next segment. But I did want to look a little bit closer at this game here in Tuscaloosa. You and Mick broke it down a little bit earlier. He was adamant earlier this week, like you and like a lot of people, wanting to see a little bit more from Ryan Williams. Is this a game? Is this a game where Alabama starts feeling comfortable with Ty Simpson throwing the ball around the yard even a little bit more before you go on the road at Georgia? Because his first start, and it was on the road, Florida State. You had the weather. Just things weren't going perfect for you on the road there. He looked a little bit more settled in against La Monroe. This is a better opponent. If he looks as comfortable in this game as he did against La Monroe, that's got to be a good sign for Bama.
100%. You've got him confident right now. I mean, this guy has completed how many in a row?
17.
17. So he's completed 17 passes in a row. So he couldn't be any more confident than he is right now. So I think if you're Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb, you just go right back to that same thing and keep his confidence going. Then you got a bye week, and then you're at Georgia. I mean, you've got a chance to have him at his peak of confidence going into the Georgia game if they can continue to play with that game plan.
Yeah, look, and this is not Louisiana Monroe. This is a Big Ten team. Are you guys a little surprised only the second Big Ten team to ever play in Bright-Denny?
It's been multiple times for Penn State, right? They've been here twice.
But when they were officially a Big Ten team was only in 2010.
UCLA has been here, but they were not a Big Ten team at the time. So teams that are currently in the Big Ten. So the one time Penn State came here in 2010 is the only Big Ten
was it.
team.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was the only time. So
we don't get enough SEC versus Big Ten.
I agree. Hey, look, we get
into the bowl games.
We're getting our takeover with the Wisconsin fans rolling in here.
That's right.
But look, it's still a brand name. They're not good this year, but it's still Wisconsin. So, you're building that confidence. I agree. I think if you're Ryan Grubb, you let Ty get after it this week. I'm really interested to see because, Mick brought up Kevin Riley, and I guess when Jam Miller comes back, it is going to be his backfield. But do you guys assume Kevin Riley gets the majority of the touches tomorrow?
Well, I mean, you tell me. How much does Jam Miller play? Is that your question?
Yeah, well, I mean, even if he plays, like Richard Young, obviously in the mix, but it seems like Riley might get the most touches.
Well, if Riley and Tim Keenum play, and I don't know how you guys feel about that, but if Riley and Tim Keenum, or excuse me, if Jam Miller and Tim Keenum play, I want them as game shape as possible going into Georgia, and this is your last chance to do that. So, I mean, you got to get them in game shape and get them those reps. So I would play Keenum and Miller as much as they physically can go, just so I've got them as close to game shape as I can have them against Georgia. So I don't know who I believe.
It's like Pavlov's dog.
Yeah, they didn't start with the. They're not going to have a lot to scream about tomorrow, but they like that. Look at them. We were supposed to go to this game.
Oh, yeah, we were supposed to go to this game last year. We did not go.
Yeah,
because I wanted to see jump around. Unfortunately, there was not enough people in the stadium to jump around when it hit last year. They cleared out right after.
DJ Jim spending them all afternoon here. All right.
Do you remember? I don't know if you remember last year when we were down the road to the rabbit hole, and there was that Browns always play into the crowd. Always play into the crowd. We get a bar full of Wisconsin fans, and Dunaway starts playing House of Pain off his phone.
I think Alabama wins this one by 30. By 30, Alabama wins this one. All right. Show being brought to you by our friends at A+. Tell us about A+ Brownie. As we go to break, we'll do LT's headlines and a little bit more on the other side.
That's our guy, Brad Bell. When it came time to redo the master bath in the Brown home, Brad Bell was the guy we went to. My wife had scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. Brad Bell was the guy she picked. I'm glad she did. He did tremendous work for us, and we have really enjoyed our bathroom. I'll tell you what he specializes in: master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. That's his specialty. It's not all he does, but it is his specialty. And the reason that is important is because when it comes time to sell your home, you can get some money back on those rooms. People really, really look at those rooms. They pop when people come visit your home. Also, don't forget, Brad will do it the way you want it done. And that's not what everybody does. They come in with some sort of plan that is good for them and maybe not best for you. That's not what Brad does. He does it the way you want it done. And I am a living testament to that. Here is the website: AlabamaBathRemodels.com, AlabamaBathRemodels.com, or 205-422-1758, 205-422-1758, or AlabamaBathRemodels.com. More from Gallette's in Tuscaloosa after this.
Honey, a while back, life knocked me flat on my behind. I was hit by an 18-wheeler, and Lord of mercy, it left me hurting. Now, I heard through the grapevine that Alexander Shannara had recovered big money for some people. You been hurt? Can't work? Don't sit there suffering. Call my people at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. Ain't gonna cost you a dime, so pick up the phone and dial 659-777-7777 or go to Shannara.com, because when I called, Alexander Shannara answered.
Call me, Alabama. No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Ah, crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get all your favorite Next Round gear all in one place, nextround.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Rest shirt, you can look your best by shopping with us at nextround.store. Take the Next Round anywhere with nextround.store.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Catch up on all of today's Next Round on demand through the podcast platform of your choice. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcasts. Wherever you listen, always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you never miss any part of the Next Round.
Before we get to our spotlight, it's time now for our Bojangles tender moment of the day, Brownie. Tell us about Bojangles, and we'll take you back to a tender moment in college football history.
It can be bow time for you this weekend, whether it is your tailgate tonight or tomorrow at a high school or college game. Maybe it's that college lunch party. Let Bojangles cater your tailgate party with those great hand-breaded chicken tenders, all the great sides, the great sauces that go with it. And don't forget, you can right now, for a limited time, start your morning with that pork chop griller. That's that biscuit you've missed from Bojangles. They've got it back. It has missed you too. So swing by your local Bojangles on your way to work or your way to school and grab that pork chop griller. It is available for a limited time at your local Bojangles. It's bow time.
You know, tender can be concern and sympathy too.
Okay.
Concern and sympathy.
I like the definition.
Dating app too, right?
Yeah,
Could
it
be.
can, with an I instead of an E.
Yeah.
But this tender moment right here is emotional. It's
make us cry, Jimmy.
No. You need a little sympathy because for the first time since 2007, Rich Rodriguez is coaching in the Backyard Brawl this weekend. The last time he coached in this rivalry game was a 13-9 upset loss in 2007. That kept Rich Rodriguez in West Virginia from playing in the national championship game. And now he's back in this, what is described on the internet as the drunkest, most underrated rivalry in college football. Drunkest and most underrated rivalry in college football. Pitt and West Virginia this weekend.
I think it does help if these teams are good. And obviously in year one, West Virginia, who just lost an 1,800-yard career back for the season just last weekend. Eli Holstein's been really good. You know what's pretty amazing? If I told you guys over the last decade, Clemson's got the most ACC wins. Not a surprise, right?
Not at all.
Miami is number 2. Who would you think is number 3?
I'm actually a bit surprised at Miami number 2, to be honest with you. I mean, since you asked the question, I'm going to say Pitt.
It is Pitt.
But, I mean, Pat Narduzzi's a guy I don't feel like – how do we feel about him on the show?
I think he's good. I think the problem with Pittsburgh, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, it's almost like an Oklahoma State. It's almost impossible to be good every year.
I would agree. I think they've got to have some, I think they've got to understand he's not going to be good every year. I mean, they are Pittsburgh. But I would say if he's got them third, what was the time frame?
Over the last decade.
If he's got them third over the last decade in wins, Dunaway, I'm going to say Pat Narduzzi's better than good. And I'm kind of with Lance. I've always considered him just a good coach. But for Rich Rod, that was an absolutely atrocious loss last week. Like, first of all,
it wasn't as bad as the loss in 2007 to Pittsburgh.
No, that one knocked him out of the national championship. And by the way, I'll never forget this. They had the officials on their side, too. I mean, there was hold after hold after hold on Pitt. And West Virginia could not take advantage of the benefit of the calls. But that was a terrible loss for them last week. I mean, first of all, what are you doing going and playing at Ohio? Why are you playing that game on the road if you're West Virginia? That's number one.
You have to sometimes to get them to come to your place for a little less money. Oklahoma's at Temple this weekend.
Alabama played at Temple years and years and years ago.
Yeah, that is really surprising.
Yeah, that is.
Alabama also played at Rutgers as a friend as a sort of tip of the cap to Bruce Arians. Bear Bryant went up there.
Yeah, SMU is at Missouri State this week, so we see some of that. But anyway, I mean, that's just a terrible loss. First of all, you have to go on the road.
And then you lose Jonesboro with the Mosquitoes.
You go on the road and then lose that game. I mean, that's just a slap in the face.
Yeah. Penn State's playing Villanova in football, not basketball. I mean, there's a lot of weird games happening this weekend.
I mean, I'm sure there was a year where the backyard brawl was like a top 15 matchup. And boy, I can't even imagine the fan bases at that point. They don't like each other.
This game got a PA announcer fired. You remember that? The public address announcer in Pittsburgh, I guess it was Heinz Field, was making jokes about West Virginia, like, hey, there's a tractor blocking traffic, so the West Virginia fan that drove it here needs to move it. I mean, they were doing jokes, and he got fired for it. So there has been some historic bad blood.
They're only 75 miles apart.
Yeah.
I mean, that's close campuses.
Yeah, nice rivalry game renewed this weekend. It was going to be the game day location until West Virginia got upset on the road there in Ohio against Ohio University. Let's do the spotlight today. Tyler, man, hit the open.
The College Football Spotlight.
Like the game's already been played. Monday's headlines today.
The spotlight is the Shannara Spotlight, presented by our guy Alexander Shannara, elite trial attorneys that have recovered more than $2 billion for their customers. One thing Alexander Shannara wanted to do was create a law firm that could take care of anything his community faced. He has done just that. They now not only handle personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. When you find yourself in need of a lawyer, it's the Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. Shannara.com, Shannara.com.
So we are going to Tiger Stadium. I'm going to stick with my theme. We had our upset alert. I've got the Florida Gators.
That's right.
I think they're going to win this game outright. Tyler, if you want to go on and throw it up from the Gainesville Sun, our headline today.
It's going to be really delayed on that one there. Yeah,
it is.
Is that one of those you don't remember, so you're going to have to...
No, I mean, I've got it. It's just a little choppy. So do you want to wait till it's shown, or
the old Gainesville Sun?
Yeah, Brown may get it faster than the big screen here in Gallette's. We are at Gallette's right now as this popping up, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Yeah, there we go.
Gainesville Sun, Tigers fans submit as Gators bust Nuss with pounding physical D.
They bust Nuss?
They bust Nuss.
Poor Nuss.
I know.
Is he out hurt?
Look at him, man. Just disgusting. You know what's crazy? When I tried to find the picture of a gator / crocodile defeating a tiger, you couldn't find them. Tigers dominate in the wild over the gator. Yeah. That is the only semblance of a photo I could find where the alligator looked like it was getting the better hand of the tiger.
That tiger's in trouble right there.
Yeah.
Gator
could have stayed on land.
Gators got him. That's right. You do not go in the gator's water if you're the tiger. You fight that thing on land.
Do you guys think the Gators bust Nuss?
I do. I don't know if they bust Nuss, but they win this game. I think Florida wins this game. I think that is the upset of the SEC this weekend. The Florida Gators win the game.
Really? Y'all think Florida wins it outright? Forget the point spread.
I do.
I just think, LSU, first of all, I think, and I led the band on this one, Dunaway. LSU coming out of Clemson, I thought was the best win of week one. I said that, and you were like, whoa, wait a minute. Ohio State beat Texas. Like, yeah, I know. It was a good one, but I think LSU going to Clemson. I think Clemson maybe is not as good as we thought. Again, I thought they were good. And then LSU last week against La Tech was just – so, I mean, I just don't know if LSU's as good as maybe I thought they were. And I think Florida is better than they showed against South Florida. And again, I think maybe we don't realize just how good South Florida actually is.
You know, for a guy that doesn't like to connect dots on game to game and common opponents and all that, you keep going back to this Clemson game a lot for LSU.
I mean, I've got 2 games to judge LSU on. Clemson, where I thought it was a great win, but then I've seen Clemson play another game where they were down 16-0 at home to Troy. Okay, so what am I supposed to think about Clemson?
Well, again, I've said this forever now. I think the SEC is more like the NFL, and if I can get 7.5 points with what I still deem as a quality team in Florida, I will take it. And right now, you know, such an unknown with this offensive line. I think you're missing your center.
But the center is questionable. But you're talking about point spread now. I'm asking you, do you think Florida wins the game outright? Okay,
really
so it doesn't matter what many points you're getting or whatever.
Right.
This is winning the game.
Yeah, I think it comes down to a final possession, and I've just got a feeling that Florida wins this game. I could see it go either way, but I feel really good plus 7.5.
I am worried about the center being out. 3 sacks last week of Garrett Nussmeier and 1 interception forced there.
They won't be able to run the football.
But for Florida, they lost their edge rusher and an injury last week.
Yep.
One of their defensive linemen will be out at least a half.
I think it's a half for the unsportsmanlike ejection.
For the ejection to spit, at least a half, if not the whole game. They are getting one of their star linemen back, but they're 91st in pass defense right now. Florida is.
That's going to be hard to bust nuts.
Yeah. You know, the other one was Florida spits, but LSU swallows.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really doesn't make. Oh, I see. I got it now. I got it.
Yeah. So that gets us to our Central State Bank. Our friends there want to tell you about the great opportunity you have to support the community there as we work our way towards the top of the hour. In the lunch hour special here from Gallette's, we'll tell you more about what's going on here all weekend long in just a second. But the fine folks at Central State Bank,
who for more than 100 years have built trust by staying true to what matters: personal service, local decisions, lasting relationships. Proud to be large enough to serve you, small enough to know you, rooted in community, driven by relationships. Central State Bank, member FDIC.
2 things away from the field. Florida, by the way, speaking of them, canceling future games with home and home with Arizona State, NC State, and California. Those games were there before the SEC went to 9 games. Now that they're going to 9 SEC games yesterday, Scott Strickland in Florida canceling those games with Arizona State, NC State, and Cal. They, of course, have Florida State as their Power 4 mandated game. So they'll have 9 SEC games, Florida State every year, and then 2 other games. But they are canceling home and homes with Arizona State, NC State, and California.
Yeah, you know, I hate that this is a byproduct of the 9 games. Now, those series don't exactly fire me up. But if Florida were playing NC State this weekend, I mean, I'm getting Florida LSU. That's a better game.
Arizona State.
Arizona State. I mean, I'd be like, hey, that's one of the better games this weekend, you know? I mean, so I don't know how those teams would be when that game is actually supposed to be played.
Mike Gundy's buyout is $15 million when this season is done.
Did you see Bruce Feldman, who he said he thought that they would and should target?
I have right here that one of the names that have been circled already to be interviewed for Oklahoma State is Ben Arbuckle, 30-year-old offensive coordinator at Oklahoma.
A rocket ship to the top if he can get a job like Oklahoma State.
Is that who Feldman is saying?
That's who Feldman said. Okay. So there must be a lot of behind the scenes.
Sure, there's a night look, and Ben Arbuckle is going to be a head coach sooner than later. But is there a little something pettiness about, hey, we're going to rip the offensive coordinator away from our big rival in Oklahoma that we're not going to play anymore?
Just Brent Venables' luck if you got this thing going and then Arbuckle takes the Oak State job. But if Arbuckle has any kind of year like they started with Mateer, he's going to be.
Yeah, and by the way, at 29, I don't think Oklahoma State's a great job at the Big 12, but that's a job you would have.
Yeah, he's 29. Like, would you, if you were, I was thinking about this when I saw the Feldman tweet before I saw Arbuckle's name.
Golish wouldn't take it.
I was like, they're going to push for Alex Golish, and I wouldn't take Oklahoma State.
Oh, no.
Alex Golish.
No. If I'm Alex Golish, I'm going to wherever I want to go, the Big Ten or the SEC.
That's right.
Whichever chance of winning at either one of those leagues.
But Arbuckle would take this.
But I'm with Lance. If I was a high school coach 5 years ago,
I'm not sure I'd want Ben Arbuckle if I was Oklahoma State.
I don't think I would either. I think you're going too quick.
I mean, very quick. Guess who's not coming with him?
John Mateer. Right.
Yeah, and how good has Ben Arbuckle without John Mateer? He was at Western Kentucky with a offensive-minded coach. He was at Washington State, and now he's at Oklahoma, and Washington State and Oklahoma that I've known him, he's had John Mateer. So I don't know what you're getting there. I think that, maybe it'll work. I don't know. And he's only 30. Those are some of the news headlines going on. We'll get back into the games. NFL wise, though, we get a renewal of a rivalry happening. I think this is Monday night, the second game. It is the Chargers of Los Angeles in Vegas to play the Raiders. It is also the latest chapter in Pete Carroll and Jim Harbaugh's rivalry. If you don't think Pete Carroll thinks it's a rivalry, we know Jim Harbaugh does. He's always talked about it. And, Stanford, USC, San Francisco, Seattle. And one of the reasons he wanted to come back and coach the Chargers in that division is because he wanted a chance. When Pete took the Raiders job, he was like, hey, this is exciting. I get to play him now twice a year. Pete Carroll gets asked about it yesterday in a media availability. Pete says, quote, I remember Jim. Long pause. I have no fond memories.
And I think somebody followed up like, what is your relationship? We don't have a relationship. Like he doubled down on it.
By the way, I have followed Pete Carroll for a long, long time. I don't hear him speak negatively about people. And so I think this shows you, like, behind the scenes, I don't know what happened between Harbaugh and Pete Carroll, but that is very, very strange.
Yeah, Harbaugh talked about Pete Carroll never sending him Christmas cards. Carroll joked yesterday, he always sends me a birthday card, though, about Pete getting older.
Oh, wow.
So
hey, not a lot of times you get matchups, say, former national championship winning coaches in the NFL.
No, that's true. You're right about that. I watched the Dallas Cowboys, the one where Jimmy Johnson returns for the NFC Championship game, and he and Jerry.
Oh, how awkward was that?
And that's what I was going to say. It was one of the coldest handshakes I've ever seen.
Ever.
And
I'll tell you another one. I don't know if you guys remember watching this live, but when Bob Knight and Steve Alford had their out.
Remember, Knight came behind the bench.
Yeah. And came through the folding chairs.
That's right.
And kind of hit him on the back.
Yeah. It was a very, very power move by him.
And we're going to get a very awkward Belichick and Kraft one day when they hang Belichick in the Patriots Ring of Honor or build a statue or whatever they do up in New England for Belichick. That'll be awkward.
Yeah,
too.
If one or not both of those guys are dead by then.
Boy,
They both may be gone by the time they do that. It's a great point.
It could be Jonathan Kraft shaking Jordan Hudson's hand.
Yeah. We get back to the games in just a second. Want to tell you, though, that here at Gallette's, this is not only a game day location, but as you can see on a Friday, it's a Friday location, especially when the weather's perfect, sunny. They got the patio out here. And just a good time. The garage doors are open. The yellow hammers are flowing. It's a perfect location to get ready for a football weekend.
The original mix of the yellow hammer since 1976 right here at Gallette's on the Strip. A lot of people love to post up here. A lot of people like me leave at halftime and come straight to Gallette's. Bud Light on location, great merch, great drink specials. Stop in, see us. We're going to be here. I'll be here at least till 3 o'clock, maybe a little bit later. We'll see. But come by and join us. Our friends at Bud Light.
Patio is packed out there, too. So having a good time out there on the Strip.
Yeah, it is sunny and perfect temperature, slight breeze blowing. It's just a perfect football weekend here in Tuscaloosa for our road show. Tyler, cut number one. We get to see Ty Simpson now against a Big Ten opponent. First name opponent he's played at home. Maybe he looks a little bit more comfortable than he did in Tallahassee. Here is Ryan Grubb, the offensive coordinator, on Ty Simpson's improvement from game 1 to game 2.
Where'd you see the most improvement from Ty game 1 to game 2?
Decision making. I thought he was extremely decisive. He was very dialed on his reads. He didn't pass on open players. I thought he played great. I thought he was really, really into the game plan all week, and I was really hopeful that he was going to play very, very well.
I will tell you the team has circled back and said how much they believe in Ryan Williams. They've seen the conversation that people have been having online about Ryan Williams.
Well, step it up. Start playing. I mean, really. I mean, the guy has not had a 100-yard game since last September. He's getting paid a ton of money.
Yeah.
Time to produce.
His teammates saying he does a lot of good things that helps the offense, that other than catching the football, sometimes it's that opens up other receivers and things. What are you wanting to see from Ty Simpson, Brownie, this weekend against this Wisconsin defense that has been pretty strong so far this year in their first 2 games?
Well, I mean, I think obviously you're probably not going to get the numbers he had against La Monroe. This is going to be a step up defensively, but somewhere between what he did in Tallahassee and what he did last Saturday next door here is kind of what you want. Like if I gave you Ty Simpson was 17 of 21, 245 yards, 2 touchdowns. You'd be okay with that, right? No interceptions. I mean, that's pretty solid day. Alabama ran the ball okay. Maybe you got a big enough lead. Austin Mack cleans up the fourth quarter for him.
Give me the final score.
I'll do last year. Alabama 42-10. Alabama's 42-10, and that's his box. I mean, I think you'd be okay with that. And then you feel like, okay, that's 2 good starts in a row. Now you got a bye week for him to mentally prepare. Physically, he seems to be okay because he's had 2 good starts in a row. So now you mentally prepare for Georgia. So if that's it, I think you'd be happy with that.
And the only reason I bring this up is that, look, he can be a decoy all he wants, but Devontae Smith, you knew where the ball was going back in 2020. It didn't matter.
So you're back to Ryan Williams. We were talking Ty, but for Ryan Williams.
I'm talking about for Ryan Williams, when you look at elite number 1 wide receivers, then this is what this guy is supposed to be. This is what this guy is getting paid for. And he's looked like it at times, especially in that Georgia game. But this guy really needs to separate himself as an elite receiver if that is indeed what he is.
Tell us about our great friends at Bud Light as we work our way to the top of the hour. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. You see the big Bud Light right over your head.
Yeah, look, logos all over here in Gallette's. Great specials today. Ice cold Bud Light. Make sure you drop in. It's going to be a big weekend in Tuscaloosa as we get ready for Wisconsin, Alabama. We've got merch out here. We've got the cold Bud Light. Come join us right here at Gallette's. Since 1976, one of the fixtures on the Tuscaloosa Strip.
Which SEC team gets the biggest win tomorrow? We'll maybe have to name 2 if it's one that you guys have already named a couple of times. That when we come back and more of your pick 3 on a Friday show from Tuscaloosa on the next round.
Honey, a while back, life knocked me flat on my behind. I was hit by an 18-wheeler, and Lord of mercy, it left me hurting. Now, I heard through the grapevine that Alexander Shannara had recovered big money for some people. You been hurt? Can't work? Don't sit there suffering. Call my people at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. Ain't gonna cost you a dime, so pick up the phone and dial 659-777-7777 or go to Shannara.com, because when I called, Alexander Shannara answered.
Call me, Alabama. No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
All right. It's a beautiful day for football here at the stadium, and we're just about ready for kickoff. Score 0-0. And suddenly, I'm in the mood for a Coke Zero Sugar. Real Coke taste, 0 sugar. Now that's a winning combo. Yeah, crisp, refreshing. That hits the spot. When it comes to great taste, Coke Zero Sugar's always on the scoreboard. Coke Zero Sugar. Real Coke taste, 0 sugar.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. Locations: Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Get all your favorite Next Round gear all in one place. NextRound.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Rest shirt. You can look your best by shopping with us at NextRound.store. Take the Next Round anywhere with NextRound.store.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show always brought to you by your tailgating home. Our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. That chicken that's brined overnight, cooked to order for lunch, dinner, 7 days a week, year-round, happy hour at 5 o'clock. But when it comes to tailgating season, the place to go. Champy's Chicken, hand-cut chicken fingers. They're huge to bring to your tailgate. You get the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. And go say hi to Sterling and the crew. It's all right there at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. This is where Brownie spins that Smucker's jar around and tells somebody hello. Who's watching the show today, Brownie?
It is our guy, Mark Holt, who is, I don't know when he'll see this or hear this. He may be seeing it or hearing it live.
Incredible email he sent us.
But he is in Australia right now. So I don't even know what time it is. What time is it in Australia?
I think it's a full 24 hours ahead, I think.
I think it is... Today is Friday, so it is Saturday.
It's game day.
It is Saturday.
Yeah.
Actually, the game's already been played. It's Saturday, 11 o'clock at night.
So he knows who won. Mark,
as if the games have already been played.
I did hear something hilarious. So
Yeah.
Maddie was telling me when this girl in high school in history class, when they brought up 9/11,
yeah,
this girl said, I will never forgive Europe for not warning us. They were 6 hours ahead.
My God.
Yeah. How incredible is that, though?
I'm going to say.
Never doubt how dumb some people
I'm going to say she was not the valedictorian.
No, she was
15 hours.
Okay.
15 hours ahead. It is 4:01 on game day right now.
4:01 a.m. So good morning to you, Mark Holt. Mark was a walk-on defensive back here at Alabama from 2008 to 2011. He started listening to us as he was ramping up there when we were back in our radio days at Jocks. Graduated from Alabama in 2012. Joined the United States Army part of the last decade. He's been flying AH-64 Apaches around the world. He's flown them in Afghanistan and in Korea. He's in Australia right now. And being an Alabama native, he said we're the one thing that keeps him connected. He's a husband. He's a father. And he says this, I've come to value even more the voices and influences I choose to keep around me. You guys have been an important part of that for years. I appreciate the way you bring humor, perspective, and a sense of home into my daily routine. He wrote us to say thank you, but we actually thank him because he's a great American hero serving in the United States military in Australia. And those are the men and women that make the United States of America the greatest nation in the universe. There isn't one close, and we are the greatest because of the active duty and United States veteran. So we appreciate Mark being part of that and thank him for watching our show.
And our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Yeah.
And Dale Earnhardt and Bear Bryant.
Yeah, it's God and then the military that protects us so much. Let's get to the games I was talking about. Which SEC team gets the biggest win tomorrow? And if it's Florida in your book, then give me another one.
If it's not Florida, I will say I'm starting to
Arkansas.
Vanderbilt, South Carolina's.
Can you make a case for Arkansas over Ole Miss?
I mean, if they win that game, I think Georgia's going to win the game, and I think people are going to be like, okay, This is another top 5 Georgia team. So I'm going to go with Georgia. I just don't feel great that either Vanderbilt or Arkansas wins on the road.
Okay, let me rephrase the question.
All right.
Which is the biggest SEC win tomorrow?
Well, I mean, if
that impacts the playoffs, whatever, which is the biggest SEC win?
Well, if Lance and I are right, it's Florida, because for two things. Number one, what does this do for Billy Napier, right? All of a sudden, you're 1-0 in conference. So you can forget that you lost to South Florida because you're 1-0 in conference. Maybe not forget it, but it takes some of the sting out. But number two, LSU is down to a very thin margin of error if they lose this game tomorrow, with a challenging schedule still in front of them. So if LSU loses this game, I mean, all of a sudden you kind of, I think, maybe have to stop and reevaluate what you think of the SEC race.
Well, we talk about thin margin of error. I tell you, another huge win could be Texas A&M on the road in South Bend, getting revenge from a team that beat them by 10 last year in College Station. Nobody's talking about Marcel Reed, and Marcel Reed now is a quarterback that everybody just talks about, like, he's athletic, he can run, he can actually throw the football. 3 consecutive games of 3+ passing touchdowns right now for Marcel Reed. And you look at some of the weapons that he's got now, Concepcion coming over from NC State. Like, if they were to win this game, they are on the radar. And people are talking about Mike Elko, year 2, Texas A&M, as a team that can make a college football playoff run.
And I know Klatt kind of scoffed at this when we brought it up in the preseason, but if Notre Dame loses this game, not next week, but the week after, they've got that road trip to Arkansas coming up.
Yeah.
And if you've already lost to Miami and Texas A&M, why do I think you're just going to walk into Fayetteville and beat Arkansas?
Well, guess what? Those final 10 games, guess how many ranked teams they play?
Who right now would be just USC eventually.
Yeah, if USC gets to be a ranked team, that would be the only one.
They will, but
they should be after this week.
So if they can get past Texas A&M, this is so big for Notre Dame, because to Lance's point, if they can get past A&M, you don't have many landmines left on that schedule at Arkansas and hosting USC. That's about it for Notre Dame.
Okay, a lot of ifs. Let me rephrase the question again.
Okay.
Which SEC team gets the biggest win tomorrow? Forget the ifs. Give it to me. Who is it?
We told you it was Florida, and you told us don't take Florida.
No, I said if it was Florida, then who else? But Florida's it for you.
I would go Georgia, because, again, nobody thinks Georgia's going to be good this year. I don't really understand why. Kirby didn't make a move in the portal, which told me he's very comfortable with Gunnar Stockton. Stockton hasn't been asked to do anything through 2 weeks. I think he will obviously have to make plays tomorrow in Neyland, but I think it is Georgia.
Yeah, let's play the other side. Can I play the other side real quick?
Sure. You want to save it for the pick 3 part of the discussion? Is there another SEC games? Because we're going to run through all these SEC games.
No, I was just going to play the Tennessee side of it.
Okay.
So if Tennessee can get that win, I mean, I just talked about how you reevaluate the SEC if LSU loses to Florida. How do you evaluate it if Tennessee beats Georgia? Because I don't know a whole lot of people that think Tennessee is going to be back in the college football playoffs, but give them a win over Georgia. And then, boy, you want to talk about a schedule that could open up for them. They still have to come right next door here to Bryant-Denny Stadium. They host Oklahoma. At Florida doesn't seem as crazy as it once did. If Tennessee can find a way to get the win, all of a sudden you've got to have them in all those mock playoff brackets. I don't know how you leave them out of those mock brackets right now.
The last bit of information you need before you make the play or enjoy the games on Saturday. It's part of our Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3. Tyler, man, hit the song.
Pick 3, it's time for the pick 3. 3 for you and 3 for me, that equals a pick 3. Say goodbye to your family, it's time for the pick 3. Only time that I'm happy is when it's time for pick 3.
Football in full effect, so is that pick 3 or pick 6, I should say, from our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. $19.99. This is the ultimate meal for 2. 2 entrees, 2 sides, 2 drinks. Pick 6 meal for 2, available at participating locations. Get into one of those great locations throughout Birmingham of Buffalo Wild Wings for all of your football action this weekend.
Around the country first, South Florida, number 18. Traveling to play number 5 Miami. Byron Brown is the quarterback for South Florida. It's got the 2 ranked wins. 2 really good receivers in Keyshawn Singleton and Nimrod. When I was a kid, I had an older cousin who called me a Nimrod. It wasn't a compliment.
You know what that meant, right?
I did not.
It was another way of calling you an idiot or a dummy. Yeah, you were Nimrod.
So that's really his last name, but he's a really good receiver.
Tough last name.
I get the feeling that you think South Florida maybe hits a wall tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so. I thought they were going to hit the wall last week. It was a great win over Boise, and then even a more impressive win on the road in the Swamp. But to be able to win as not only to open a season, we brought this up, the third team since 1950 to win against 3 ranked teams to open a season. But to be able to do it on the road against now a top 5 in Miami, I am not sold that Miami is going to be even as good as last year. The defense is better. I don't think the offense is good. But for South Florida to win this game, this would be amazing. It would be the top story in college football, and they would have an opportunity. If they win this game to go 12-0, and where do you seed South Florida if they beat Miami and Florida and Boise State, who end up maybe being ranked teams at the end of the year?
Jim tells you no matter what, it's 12.
That's where it should be.
I mean, that's the way you feel, though, right? No matter what South Florida does, they are locked into the 12.
I completely disagree with that.
Yeah.
You would lock them in at 12 if they beat 3 teams that are going to be ranked at the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't think Boise State will be ranked.
No, but I'm saying if they are,
I still would have them. That would be 3 ranked wins, and probably, most likely, almost guaranteed, that would be very close to equal, but not the same resume as other teams in there. You'll have.
Well, I mean, SEC teams would have better resumes,
and Big Ten would too.
Yeah, so really,
but not necessarily the Big 12 or the ACC.
Big 12 or the ACC would be the one you would be ranking them in front of. But I'm kind of with Jim. Again, as we've said before,
it's not going to happen. It's just a hypothetical. But
I mean, if they win this weekend, it may. But I'm with you. I don't think they will. They're a 17.5-point underdog for a reason.
Wisconsin can get into this conversation in the Big Ten if they upset Alabama tomorrow. But of the playoff contenders, it is a sleepy weekend in the Big Ten. Number 1 Ohio State plays host to Ohio. I know Ohio just beat West Virginia. Don't expect that in Columbus. Number 2 Penn State at home to Villanova. Better basketball game than football game. Number 4 Oregon on the road at Northwestern, temporary stadium there. Duck should be able to name the score.
Dan Lanning told me to watch that game at the gas pump this morning. I don't know if y'all get the videos at the gas pump, but Dan Lanning was talking about this game.
So I stopped and got gas too. Most random thing.
I'm getting it on the way home.
Wow.
We all need gas.
Pull over to Chevron on McFarland.
Yeah.
And guess what's in the window for sale? A LaDainian Tomlinson light blue, powder blue Chargers jersey.
And you bought it?
No, I'm just like, what the hell? Like,
buy that?
Why would they be selling a powder blue jersey at a Chevron in Tuscaloosa?
I wonder if it's legit or.
Oh, you think it might not be authentic?
Yeah, I just left the Falcon games the other day and could get signed jerseys for like $30 on the street.
Really?
Steve Barkowski.
And I was like, it doesn't say that really is Michael Penix's signature. It just says it's got Michael Penix's signature.
That's right. It's signed.
Yeah, it's somebody signed Michael Penix's name.
Yeah.
Illinois is at home. Number 9 Illinois at home to Western Michigan. By the way, Luke Altmaier, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, 75 completion rating so far.
You know, Brett Bielema can coach. You return all 5 offensive linemen, 17 returning starters. I thought it was going to be a really difficult test. They were able to turn Duke over and Darian Mensah. They win that game going away. This should be an easy one against Lance Taylor in Western Michigan.
The other Lance Taylor, Luke Altmaier, to your point, I mean, you look at those numbers, Dunaway, and
he would be a better quarterback right now than Austin Simmons.
I was about to say, I mean, if you're an Ole Miss fan, would you take him or Austin Simmons? You would take Luke Altmaier.
Well, the experience and the known. Yeah. I mean, Austin Simmons has obviously still got a lot of upside, but was careless with the football last week in Lexington.
Central Michigan at number 23, Michigan of the other contenders. If you still keep Michigan there, by the way, Bryce Underwood, 3-14 on third downs last week at Oklahoma. They've got to get better if they want to win. Also, we talked about Clemson and Georgia Tech a lot. Utah and Wyoming, I'm not scared about number 20 Utah, but what a fun location for Utah to go on the road to Wyoming. That's one of those stadiums that I would love to visit one time.
Yeah, I think for us, looking at it like, oh, that's beautiful. But if you've ever been to Salt Lake City and you've seen the backdrop of what the Utes play in, kind of similar. But, yeah, this will be a cool atmosphere game.
So, I mean, your point is that's the one team that might step down in views to go to Wyoming is Utah.
Yeah, like Utah would go to Wyoming, and they're, like, looking around like, this is kind of cool, but this looks normal to us.
These mountains back home. 23.5. Utah is favored in that game, by the way.
I probably would take Utah and give the points there.
Yeah, they've been playing pretty well.
Georgia Tech, by the way, wearing all white tomorrow at home against the Clemson Tigers, like Auburn is, as they play home to South Alabama in their homecoming game, where Xavier Atkins and Sylvester Smith and Kieron Crawford and that Auburn defense will need to step their game up a little bit because South Alabama was able to score some points against Tulane.
Yeah, and I was really, really surprised. I mean, you know, if you told me South Alabama kept it close, I would say maybe with defense. I just didn't expect much at all from this offense once they lost Gio Lopez. But to do it in back-to-back weeks, I would be very, very surprised if the Jags are able to hang with Auburn tomorrow.
Usually the first chance to get some post-game sound is on our Twitter feed and Instagram feed at Next Round Live. Jump on there and enjoy all the content all weekend long. Let's get into the SEC, brought to you today by our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa. Tell us about Woodhouse, LT.
The best day spa in all of America resides right there at the Summit Shopping Centers, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Give the gift of relaxation. She can choose from a menu of over 70 options. The massages, body treatments, nail service, waxing, all right there under one roof. Get in, see Stuart and the great folks there. Tell them the Next Round sent you, or online you can order that special gift card 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
And our friends at Walk-Ons, including here in Tuscaloosa, but specifically our friends over in Trussville, Greystone, and Stadium Trace, the Walk-Ons there. You get an opportunity to enjoy game days there. Post up and enjoy the great drinks and the made-from-scratch favorites when it comes to the great menu there. Walk-Ons is your go-to for good times with wall-to-wall TVs, craft beer and cocktails, and bold flavors for the fans of all ages. From the melty mozzarella logs to the Hall of Fame level burgers, it's all right there. And you can order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro, Trussville, Greystone, and Stadium Trace. It's game on with our friends at Walk-Ons there. In the SEC, Wisconsin and Alabama gets it going first. How many quarterbacks do we see tomorrow? We saw 3 last week.
For Alabama or total?
For Alabama.
For Alabama?
I have got this in a 4 downs question, but I will go on and answer it.
Oh, I forgot about 4 downs.
Yeah, let's do that now.
You want to do 4 downs
Yeah,
right
we can
now?
go down.
Okay, let's do 4 downs right now. Sorry about that, Tyler. 4 downs right here, brought to you by our friends at Walk-On. So your game.
You set it up early.
The game on. Let's go. Let's do first down.
First down.
So I think this is going to be asked a little differently than you asked it.
You made it sound like it was word for word. But
if I put it at a half on other quarterbacks that started Alabama or Auburn this year.
Start?
Yeah. So you got Jackson Arnold, Ty Simpson right now. I'm just going a half on any other quarterback to start for either team this year in any game.
At this point, it's going to require injury, don't you think?
I think so. Dunaway continues to allude that Austin Mack might just randomly come in.
I kind of want to get to that because you were about to bring it up again right there. You mentioned it yesterday.
This is what I want to see tomorrow. I want to see, is it like it was last week, a scripted, already pre-planned time that Austin Mack's going to come into the game with the ones in the first quarter.
But that told me that you knew you were going to win this game going away. I think Kalen DeBoer will play this a little closer to the vest. I think it gets away from Wisconsin in the second half, and I think Mack will play, but I don't think you're going to see Mack in the first half.
Well,
I'd be really surprised.
That's very different, right? That's when the game's in hand. That's what QB2s do.
Right.
But if Austin Mack already is pre-planned and he comes out there in the first half with the ones and the game is still in jeopardy, that looks different.
Well, I do think this is easier to do when you don't have a long time starter.
And I've got no inside information. I'm not saying I'm saying it's going to happen. I said I'm interested in seeing because Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer have both talked about doing this with Jake Haener.
I think you, Dunaway, when you don't have a long time established starter, when he has just earned the job, this is a little bit easier to do. Like if you did this with with a Quinn Ewers last year, if he weren't hurt, Jalen Milroe last year, a guy that has been a starter for a very long time, Carson Beck, it starts to, I just think it's more difficult to do. When you've got a guy that still has just earned the starter's job and he's still competing every day to keep that starter's job, I like doing this because it's the coaches not only getting a guy meaningful snaps, Jim, but also telling the starter, it's your job. It's your job right now. Like, we didn't give you this job all year. We gave you this job for the first game. You earned it again for the second game. And if you continue to play well, you'll earn it again for the third game. So, I think that's part of the message for Ryan Grubb there, not only to get Austin Mack some meaningful snaps, but to send that message as well. You never want your quarterback to feel comfortable that it's always his job and start to slack off. You want him to be comfortable, but you want him to work hard to keep that comfort.
Let's do second down.
Second down.
Now, this would be devastating for either one of these head coaches, but better chance of a Big Ten 3 underdog team winning outright. Purdue at home over USC or Wisconsin on the road tomorrow at Bryant-Denny.
I'm going to go Purdue with Barry Odom. I think just starting that program, the opportunity to get some guys in on the portal, being at home, in a team that has not been I mean, I know Alabama hasn't been consistent, but USC hasn't enjoyed success on a consistent basis either. I would say Purdue would be my pick there.
I mean, both losses devastating, right?
Yeah, I cannot see either one here. I guess I would go Purdue. Here's the only way for Purdue. It is a bit of an early body clock game for USC. It's not as bad as, what was it, Utah's going to kick off at 9 a.m. local time on the big noon kick in a couple of weeks. It's not that bad, but it's still an earlier body clock game for USC. And if Purdue...
Isn't it also 9 o'clock? Isn't it 11 o'clock kick?
Is it 11 kick? I thought it was a 2 o'clock kick.
Oh.
I thought it was 11 a.m. body clock.
Okay.
Still not crazy, but...
Yeah, it's a 2:30, so 12:30 USC.
It's the CBS game. I don't know if they're going to honor Gary Danielson there. I would assume they do.
It's his last year.
It's his last year, and he played at Purdue. But if Purdue grows that grass up, we found out yesterday they got natural grass, right?
Yeah.
We did discover that.
Bermuda
grass. They grow that up, slow that track down a little bit, maybe, but I don't see either one.
Currently 82 degrees and clear there, so you're not getting any weather, at least today. I'll check the long-range forecast. I mean, to me, to get a to get a win, they probably would need some weather there.
Yeah, I would agree.
It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day.
Yeah,
in West Lafayette.
It's good for Purdue. They want nasty.
I want that clean track.
Purdue wants
tomorrow.
Nasty.
Oh no!
No, what?
No, only 15% chance of rain. 83, pretty good day at West Lafayette. Let's do third down.
Third down.
Okay, me and Brown have already kind of answered this throughout the show, but home SEC favorite in more trouble. Would it be LSU against Florida or Ole Miss at home against Arkansas?
To me, it's Ole Miss at home against Arkansas because Austin Simmons, 13 of 24, 2 interceptions last week, 235 yards. He doesn't have the game pressure if Arkansas is able to get Taylon Green going, who is 7th in total yards in the country right now. And I just trust that this Bobby Petrino, Taylon Green marriage, and then Sam Pittman's ability to get a good offensive line to go out there and push Ole Miss around. I think that's a really interesting football game in Oxford. Can Kejuan Lacey run the football, continue to run it well for Ole Miss? I'm not shocked if Arkansas walks out, forget the cover, with a straight-up W in Oxford.
Oh, so you're not shocked by that?
Nope.
Arkansas winning outright?
I'm more shocked by Florida winning the game outright, not covering. But
wow.
If LSU actually loses the game,
that would shock you
more.
That
would floor me. But Ole Miss actually losing the game will not floor me.
I do that
every weekend moving forward. Real quick, Brown, you will have a underdog in the SEC on the road that will win one of these games
every single week.
Every single weekend.
I am fascinated by this Arkansas Ole Miss game because I just want to see what is real Taylon Green, and you'll know that Pete Golding's defense. I said it earlier with Fuhrman. A lot of people that are here at Gallette's will laugh at this, but Pete Golding's defense has been the best defense in the SEC for a couple years now, or among them at least, maybe not the best. What can Taylon Green do against that defense? It's not Arkansas State. It's not Alabama A&M anymore. This is a real SEC defense. Can he put up anywhere close to the numbers that he has put up through the first 2 weeks? If so, Jim, you got a shot at being right at this one.
Let's do fourth down.
Fourth down.
Sydney Sweeney, 28 years old today. If I asked you ultimately better career, Sydney Sweeney or Aaron Judge?
Aaron Judge, not close.
I mean, look, I just think I think we diminish what Aaron Judge is doing right now in New York. We talked about this a couple of days ago. Just blows me away that more casual fans don't talk about Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I would put Sydney Sweeney the fifth or sixth best actress on Euphoria on one show. I don't know how good of an actress she really is.
Oh, I don't know if that matters.
Yeah, I passed 12 women better looking than her on the way from my car to here right now.
I was about to say.
Dunaway has got the weirdest.
No.
You've got the weirdest.
I'll start with Maddie over there. Maddie, better looking than Sydney Sweeney.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many other ones. I haven't seen another one walk in here today.
Knew I had to get a yes there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's legitimate.
Yeah, 100%. That was 100%. I agree. I'm going to say it for a fact.
You're 1 for 1. You're 1 for 1.
But I haven't seen the other ones.
There was a hot yoga class letting out right when I was driving down the strip.
Did you see Lane Kiffin did hot yoga in Lexington?
Oh, I wonder why.
I know, and he did the photo with a girl, and he is just drenched in sweat, shirt off, of course. I was going to tell Lance when he asked the question if there was a pause. I was going to say, here's where Dunaway says.
Yep. 12. I counted.
I could find 10 girls on the strip right now better looking than Sydney Sweeney.
Bigger, 12. 12.
I just got to ask.
I didn't know Maddie was going to be here. So 12.
Do you think Taylor Swift is better looking than Sydney Swift?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I'm just checking.
But she has more talent in her pinky.
I think
Sydney Sweeney.
Jim might be right about that.
Oh, yeah. But you, let me ask you this: more talented, Taylor Swift or Sabrina Carpenter?
More talented?
Yeah,
Taylor Swift, and not even close.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, dude, not even close. Not even close. But I love Sabrina Carpenter's music.
Those
just like every other girl in
those careers will not come.
Oh no, they want. I'm not saying though.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot more talented people than Taylor Swift.
You see, you like that Billie Eilish chick. I think she is so overrated.
I think she's fantastic.
I do not like her music at all.
Tremendously talented.
She just whispers into the mic every single song.
Great vocalist.
Every.
Now, I will give you. You will see. You can sling a cat and hit somebody that looks better than Billie Eilish around here.
Oh, that's great. I think we're all three on that one.
That is 4 downs today as we work our way towards trash and then more of our pick 3, including Forrester's and Brooks picks. If you missed it earlier, before LT tells you about our friends at Michelson, if you missed it earlier, I've got Clemson, South Carolina, and Alabama in my pick 3. LT's got Minnesota, Duke, and USC. And Brownie has got Georgia, Clemson, and USC. All that happening this weekend. We'll find out from Forrester and Brooks coming up. You can always find out what's the best when it comes to LASIK eye care with our friends at Michelson.
Yeah, true pioneer in the LASIK space. Back in 1995, Dr. Mark Michelson, the first to perform the procedure. I got the procedure done in 2003. Still 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made. 205-969-8100. Make sure you ask for Amy. Tell the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. For more information, MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Back to Gallettes in a moment. Brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Honey, a while back, life knocked me flat on my behind. I was hit by an 18-wheeler, and Lord of mercy, it left me hurting. Now, I heard through the grapevine that Alexander Shannara had recovered big money for some people. You been hurt? Can't work? Don't sit there suffering. Call my people at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. Ain't gonna cost you a dime, so pick up the phone and dial 659-777-7777 or go to Shannara.com, because when I called, Alexander Shannara answered.
Call me, Alabama. No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Catch up on all today's Next Round on demand through the podcast platform of your choice, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcast, wherever you listen. Always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you never miss any part of the Next Round. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Never miss anything from the Next Round when you listen on demand through the podcast platform of your choice, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcast, wherever you listen. Always like, follow, subscribe, turn on automatic download so you can catch every part of the Next Round. Listen anywhere in the world, anytime on the Next Round podcast feed, and support the show by following, subscribing, and turning on automatic downloads on any podcast platform. Listen anywhere in the world, anytime on the Next Round podcast feed. Thanks for always making the Next Round a big part of your day.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Back with you in Tuscaloosa at Gallette's, right here off of Yellowhammer Drive in the Strip. Tell us about Gallette's, LT.
Since 1976, it is a institution right here in Tuscaloosa, right by the stadium, home of the original Yellowhammer. Brown had his first Yellowhammer ever. You drinking it still?
It's Diet Coke now.
Okay.
The Yellowhammer was excellent, though.
Yeah. Bud Light, though. They're going to be here all weekend. They're giving away merch right now. Great specials on the Bud Light. If you're looking for a place to post up before or after the game all weekend long, Galette's is your place. And we've got Camel Crush. We'll be in the back room starting at 3 o'clock. By the way, it's a DJ, so
that's right.
Plenty of music coming up today.
Not a jam band.
So it's a DJ. That's why we couldn't find it on Spotify.
That's why I couldn't find him on Spotify.
That makes sense.
I found, hey, my TikTok algorithm handed me a DJ this morning that does mixes of songs you wouldn't think would mix, and it's so perfect for this crowd.
Could you go like Copacabana from Barry Manilow to In the Club from 50 Cent?
Paradise City and House of Pain's Jump Around. An incredible mix. It's this guy, I think it's Rehab DJ on TikTok.
So is he going back and forth between? I can hear the.
No, he plays the lyrics, the House of Pain lyrics of Jump Around over the instrumentals of Paradise City.
Okay.
It is absolutely terrific.
Before we get to trash and then the Brooks picks and that from our buddy Forrester in the back, I want to tell you about our friends at Hemphill and Hemphill Services. Heating and cooling, but really important on the weekends, 24-hour emergency service.
Yeah, I told you guys my buddy Tyler Johnson reached out a couple of days ago, and he's like, I'm at the playground with my kid. Wife reached out. House is over 80 degrees. Help me out. I gave him Andrew's number. He called him up. They were out there immediately. They got everything fixed up. If you experience any plumbing, heating, cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of these potential issues. Hard to stop a train. For more information, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
All right, let's jump to trash, and then we'll get back into football. Tyler, if you will, man, hit the big trash button, and let's do this thing.
And Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback, who is really he's been fantastic. He's been when he's not injured, he's great.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
So true.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. I just popped another cold one right here at Galette's. Stop in, see all of our friends from Adams Beverage and Bud Light. So Emmys host Nate Bargatze. I didn't realize he's hosting the Emmys.
That guy's career, you want to talk about blowing up.
Has a novel and potentially expensive plan to keep acceptance speeches short this year. I don't know if you guys have heard this. Pretty interesting what they're going to do. Now, during a visit Jimmy Kimmel Live on Wednesday night, the comedian revealed that he plans to donate $100,000 to the Boy and Girls Club of America after the awards ceremony. However, the exact contribution amount will depend on whether the various winners go over or under their allotted time for speeches.
Genius.
Bargatze explained, quote, everybody gets 45 seconds to do all the thank yous. So I came up with, I'm going to give $100,000 to the Boys and Girls Club. That's what the show's starting at. When everybody uses their 45 seconds, if someone goes over, we take away $1,000 a second every time they go over. Now, while the first time ME's host acknowledged that it was, quote, a tough deal, he noted that others can earn some of the cash back if their fellow winners go a little long-winded. He goes on to say, if you go under, we'll put $1,000 back on so you can actually give it back.
That's pretty amazing. So here's what happens, though. If a celebrity goes over, they end up donating like 10 grand. Hey, Nate, I know I cost $1,000 right there. I'm going to donate $10,000. Don't worry. I'm going to stand up here for 5 more minutes. Or, Yeah. So we'll end up actually raising a ton of money for Boys and Girls Clubs.
I don't know why they make such a big deal about it. What if they all got up there and just said thank you, took the trophy, and walked off? It'd be a boring show. So,
hey, and by the way, you've got a TV window. Who cares if you go over that TV window? Why are they so worried about that, Dunaway?
Late local news, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know if you worry about that anymore, do you?
Yeah, maybe it was a big deal 20 years ago, but now, I mean, I would just go as long as you go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's some loss of viewership deep into the night. I don't know.
Maybe so.
Cell phone video shows an inmate hanging out of the back of a window of a state prison transport van moving at freeway speeds in Oklahoma City last week. September 2nd incident was recorded by Tegan Martin, who said she spotted other video of the incident on social media. The incident took place on Interstate 40, a nearly coast-to-coast highway that runs through the heart of Oklahoma City. Now, in the video, the inmate, partially covered by an orange jumpsuit, faces traffic behind him and gestures to motorists.
That's an amazing video.
A rear window appears to have been removed or broken out. The vehicle's brake lights can be seen as it moves onto the shoulder of the roadway. Martin told affiliate NBC KFOR of Oklahoma City that she was recording the video as her sister was driving on the interstate. Quote, oh my God, both women say on the accompanying video. They expressed concern the man might jump from the vehicle. One of the two says, don't you effing do it, bro. Now, the sisters thought they were witnessing some sort of a joke. Martin told the station, adding the incident went by fast, said it only lasted for a minute or two. Now,
man just wanted some fresh air. Yeah, had fresh outside air in a while.
State Corrections Department said the van was in the middle of a routine transport when the inmate damaged it, started hanging out of the back window. They said the officer immediately recognized the situation, exited the highway, called for additional law enforcement support.
How was he able to do that? Are they not chained up?
I guess not. I mean, breaking the window. By the way, the van just keeps going. I guess that's the smart play, because if you stop, then he actually can jump out and maybe make a flee. I mean, if you keep going, he ain't going to jump out. Or if he does, he's not going to survive it.
Or you wonder if he's already like premeditated, has somebody waiting for him to bust the window out.
Or Lance, he just doesn't care. And that's what makes him the most dangerous, right? If he's one of those guys that's like, I am locked up forever, so I'm just going to do whatever and see what happens.
Have we gotten away from those ankle cuffs that we used to put on?
I think you got to be shackles. I think you got to be pretty hardcore criminal for those.
This story, no bueno. A man who was arrested on suspicion of capital murder is alleged to have beheaded the manager of a Dallas motel.
Dear heavens.
Then left the victim's head in a trash bin, according to court records.
My God, Lance.
Now, when authorities took Jordanis Martinez into custody on Wednesday, he was covered in blood and armed with a machete. He's accused of killing a 50-year-old motel manager. He's being held without bond in the Dallas County Jail. Now, the horrific scene unfolded Wednesday morning after the hotel manager instructed Martinez not to use a broken washing machine. Martinez and a woman were cleaning a room at the time, the affidavit says. Martinez became upset because the man didn't speak to him directly, instead relied on the woman for translation, according to the affidavit. Affidavit cited video that said it captured Martinez leaving the motel room, grabbing machete, and repeatedly cutting and stabbing the man to death.
That is,
again, I mean, simple solution. Take him out, hack him up in front of a bunch of people, put him on a spike, and send him back wherever he came from.
I don't think you got anything to send back at that point. By the way, machete in trash way too often. I just don't know how the machete ends up being the weapon of choice so often.
If this guy thought so little of an individual to remove their head from a motel.
I don't disagree with you.
I mean, this is not Island, right?
No, this is beyond Island.
Yeah.
No.
Don't waste the island's food.
Some people you just got to take out. He's one of them.
Western Pennsylvania man and his emotional support alligator took a shopping cart spin around local Walmart, where he claims they have never had a problem, but his recent trip earned them orders to stay away. Walmart did confirm on Thursday. Wesley Silva, 60 years old, and his 5-foot-long, 32-pound reptile made the local news after a trip to Walmart, where he pushed the alligator around in the shopping cart as she was wearing a dress. Before concerns about the recent visit were raised, Silva insisted he and the alligator experienced nothing but praise. Quote, "We've been going to Walmart for about 3.5 years. Normally the reaction is, that's pretty cool, or that's awesome that you have a pet alligator, man," Silva told NBC News on Thursday. Walmart spokesperson, though, was far less effusive and said the alligator and any other gators aren't welcome inside of the stores. Man, I get it. You could have a serious liability on your hands if that thing took somebody's fingers off.
100%. I mean, it doesn't look old enough right now to do damage, but it doesn't have to get much older to be old enough to do damage.
Still take fingers off.
Potentially. Yeah. You think one that size could take a finger off?
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty small alligator.
I still think it could take a finger off.
Really?
I think so.
I wouldn't think so at that size. But again, if I'm Walmart, I'm just going to say, hey, we don't allow alligators. We're definitely going to draw the line there.
You're playing to the strength of the weekend, though, Brown. You think that gator could take fingers off, and you think Florida could beat LSU this
Buddy,
weekend?
have you seen DJ Lagway play?
Yeah. That's Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Before we hear some more sound from the Southeastern Conference, let's get Forrester and Brooks in with their picks right now. Forrester, you go first, buddy. Before you tell us your picks, let's see the standings one more time for the folks that may have missed it earlier in the show. This is our Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3, brought to you by the great folks at Buffalo Wild Wings, other great locations in town. We're pretty jam-packed. 3 of us off to a really good start so far, 4-2. I don't, us being above 500 is always a good sign in this segment, I think.
Who's not above 500, Jim?
The Forrester is 500.
I know.
He's 3-3.
Yeah, are you getting your picks from the Brown Bandit?
You just wait and see. Again,
I'm just asking.
Like that baby alligator, I'm just lurking in the woods. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we thought maybe you were going to do Lance'sLock.com this year, pay for the subscription, Brownie, but my goodness. All right, let's go Forrester first. Forrester, what are your picks this weekend, man?
Hey, boys. This week, I got Georgia Tech plus 3.5 over the meth tiger here. Then I got Big Al stomping all over the Wisconsin Badger, minus 21.5. And I've got
taking Alabama, okay.
And I've got evil Lane Kiffin coming out and destroying the Hogs, minus 6.5 in Oxford.
So you're all over evil Lane Kiffin with his laser eyes. You steal that from Auburn Twitter? Is that where you got the laser eyes?
Might have been inspired.
Yeah, I like that. That's Forrester's plays this weekend. He is one of the he's 3-3, not one of the co-leaders, but Brooks is. Here's Brooks, Brooks Carter. If you don't know Brooks, he's now working with us up here. What's your plays, man? Are you an Alabama grad, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, I thought so. So this is a familiar place for you.
Honestly, didn't do a lot of bar hopping. Most of it for me was downtown. I didn't hang out on the strip very much. It was a lot of minors trying to get in here, so I tried to avoid that crowd when possible.
I hear you.
To be honest.
So what's your play, man? What's your three?
I'm going to go Oregon. I'm going to go Ohio State, and I am going to go South Carolina.
Did you put an S on states for me there? Ohio States?
Maybe my South Carolina ran into Ohio State.
Man, you are laying some big numbers.
So Oregon,
not
Ohio
South
State?
Carolina, but Oregon and Ohio State. Ohio State is 40 what?
30.5.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big number.
Yeah. It's still, they won like 70-0 last week, though.
Yeah, that's a good point. Are they playing Gundy again? No.
Oregon's not playing Gundy, but they're playing not a great Big Ten school. So.
Yeah, not Northwest. They're playing Northwestern. All right, that's Brooks there. Brought to you by our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Again, LT, tell us about the pick 3 in Buffalo Wild Wings.
Hey, great place to go all weekend for lunch or dinner. Watch all of the games there and enjoy the pick 6. 2 of the entrees, 2 of the sides, 2 of the drinks, only $19.99 right there at Buffalo Wild Wings. Stop in, see all of our friends there throughout the weekend, all those Birmingham locations.
All right, let's go LSU first. We talked a lot about Florida Florida, trying to bounce back from the loss to South Florida over the course of last weekend. Preparation for this weekend. Here's Cut 11, Brian Kelly, saying that you have to recognize who you're playing. It's a desperate Florida Gator team coming to Baton Rouge.
Coach, you've probably been in this position many times over the years, just playing a team that some might consider desperate for a win at this point of the season. How do you put that into perspective for the guys in the locker before the game?
If you out-execute anybody that's desperate, the guy that out-executes wins over the guy that's desperate. That doesn't win games. What wins games is execution. And so that's why I say to you today, like today was important to me that our details needed to be in place, like be detailed. You know what the opponent's going to be. They're going to come in knowing that they need to win. That's not what we're doing. We're going out to out-execute our opponent and, play with poise, composure, right? Compete our tails off for 4 quarters every single play. And look, at the end of the day, the teams that out-execute each other, all that other stuff kind of goes away.
Do you guys put any stock in teams that can come in a little hungry, a little desperate? It seems like you'll have a little bit with this Florida team.
Well, what you don't know is how a team feels about their head coach. And if these Florida players like Billy Napier, and I don't have any reason to think they don't.
Yeah, I think they do.
It seems like they do. The thing that scares me is when a talented team starts playing to save their coach. May or may not work, but they know one big win, and it kind of changes things for a guy they like. And I think sometimes – listen, I mean, LSU will probably have to help this. If LSU plays their best game, I don't think Florida can win. But if LSU helps a little bit, and Florida has heard all this about their coach getting fired, and they come in and play for Billy Napier, that's a recipe for an upset.
When you looked at the schedule, you assumed Florida was going to be 2-1 after these 3 games. I don't know how it's going to feel for Florida fans if they do pull off the upset after losing to South Florida, but that's where we expected them to be after 3 games.
Exactly. Not how you expected them to be there.
Mike Elko and Texas A&M with a big national primetime game at Notre Dame this weekend. What's cool here is that Elko and company lost 4 of 5 to end the year last year and let it get away in what was going to be a special season for them. So they're off to a good start, 2-0, but this is the game that could get them going. Here's Mike Elko talking about the trip to play the Golden Domers in South Bend.
In your opinion, how big for this program, for effort this season, is this game? And are you the type of coach that says, hey, every opponent's the same, nameless, faceless, or do you have a issue with saying, hey, telling your guys this is different?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be naive to not think that our kids understand the magnitude of a top 10 matchup on the road, going to play a top 10 opponent on the road. So from that perspective, obviously this is a big opportunity. How big is it relative to this season? It's as big as every game we play because win or lose, there's going to be more to play, and regardless of outcome, the next one's going to be just important, and so is the next one. So from that perspective, I don't see it different. But from the standpoint of, is this a big stage, big opportunity, prime time? Yeah, for sure. It'd be naive to say it isn't.
One thing that surprised me about Notre Dame and their loss to Miami is Jeremiah Love only got 33 yards. They really didn't lean into him like I thought they would.
Yeah, I thought both Love and Price would get a lot more touches. And I think in this off week, that's what you want to do, especially to get C.J. Carr, a first-year starter, more and more comfortable. Texas A&M, 7 straight losses on the road to top 10 teams.
I mean, they don't beat a ton of them at Kyle Field. So, I mean, I think their overall record against top 10 in that same stretch is probably not very good, but it's certainly not good on the road. Hard to get a feel for this game because we've only seen that one Notre Dame game. How good is Miami? Was Notre Dame, I mean, they could have easily won that game. I don't know much about C.J. Carr. I've seen him make one start. There again, Texas A&M, I haven't seen him be tested.
Yeah,
So,
I think too many points in this spot. I think there's a little bit more money on A&M, but I think A&M speed will be able to keep up. And, I don't know if it's good or bad. I mean, I agree with Dunaway that you kind of wanted to play after the loss to Miami, but is there a benefit with Marcus Freeman coming in after a bye week?
Maybe, but it would have been nice to get out there and let C.J. Carr get a positive reinforcement against a Central Michigan or somebody like that, a Northern Illinois, and get a dub. And then you're like, okay, you're not 0-1 for your career going into this game.
Yeah.
I mean, your first career win has got to be against Texas A&M of the SEC in prime time on NBC in your home opener at South Bend, or you're going to be 0-2. Those are your choices.
Yeah, look, and if Miami does what a lot of people believe they'll do to South Florida, Miami is going to be, at worst, number 5 again next week. But, you start to look at this Notre Dame team. Can you imagine if they're 0-2, and although it would be against good teams,
they don't make the playoffs? I don't think, because if they're 0-2,
are they unranked at 0-2?
I don't know if they're unranked. Well, A&M's ranked, and Miami's a top 5 team, so they would have 2 good losses. I'm just saying at 0-2.
Have we ever seen an 0-2 team in the top 25? I don't know if we have.
It's a good question. I don't know.
We'll find out next week if they lose.
If they lose, you'll know.
Yeah.
But you got to convince me if they're 0-2 that they're going to win at Arkansas and beat USC. Both to make the playoffs. And to me, that's too tall of an order. I know I said this after Northern Illinois. Wow, Notre Dame's out of the playoffs last year, and they end up playing for the national championship. But I really do feel that way about this game this year against Texas A&M.
The biggest game in the country is Georgia and Tennessee at 2:30. It'll be the Fowler and Herb Street game. Game day is there now. Joey Aguilar has been really, really good. 39 of 59, 535 and 5 touchdowns. But it's a different opponent now with the Georgia Bulldogs. And it's a different time of year. This is early for Tennessee and Georgia, at least in Josh Heupel's time there. Here's Coach Heupel of the Volunteers talking about having Georgia so early in the SEC schedule.
With this game being earlier in the year than it has been, is there any difference in preparation? Is there any have to maybe adjust more on the fly because you don't have as much to study and prepare for with them playing 2 games and you guys only playing 2 games against the opponents you played?
Yeah, I think all of your early season games, we talked about it before week 1, after week 1 too. But even at this point, there's less current video of what they're doing, and so communication adjustments are important in this one. That's your players on the field. It's also your coaches and players together when you get to the sideline.
Ole Miss led the conference last year with 6,800 yards of offense in a full season. Tennessee's got 1,210 already.
Wow. Yeah, it cannot continue.
I
think they get a dose of reality. We'll see how good Aguilar is. Look, he's looked the part early on in Heupel's offense. If you put a mustache on Heupel, could you say that him and Shane Gillis are a little related?
Maybe so. Yeah, I could see some Shane Gillis there.
You can't drink that during the commercial here. That's what they would be telling him. All right, so let's get back to Auburn and Alabama. Brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Champy's Chicken right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster, your tailgate location. High school football on a Friday night, and then go for your tailgate on Saturday. Pick up those hand-cut chicken fingers and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. It's our friends at Champy's Chicken. Go see Sterling and the crew right there at Champy's. For Auburn, last tune-up before they start the 4-game stretch that includes their first SEC game on the road at Oklahoma. But at South Alabama first, here's Hugh Freeze on playing in-state opponents.
I think it's good for the state and it's good for football. As a coach, you get a little uptight because I've been on the other side coaching a G5 team where there's Liberty at Virginia Tech or some of those type games, and you get excited for those. And I know in South Alabama's a very quality football team for G5 that can scare the heck out of you, but I still think it's the right thing to do for our state and for the game of football.
Do we still take that as a shot by Auburn and Alabama that Alabama does not schedule these type games? Because they really don't, right? I mean, Alabama, have they played South Alabama? I don't think they have.
They've not played South Alabama.
UAB.
I know they haven't played UAB.
They played Sanford.
I don't remember them playing Troy.
Yeah.
I don't think they played Sanford.
Yeah.
Jack State one year? No, I don't think.
No. I think Auburn's played them all.
Yeah.
Auburn, though, they've got to limit big plays. Outside of Kentucky, they've given up the second most 10-yard plus plays in the SEC this year through 2 games. A lot of that was Baylor, and you're going to give up some big plays against Sawyer Robertson. But you got to limit that. Not going to be a factor tomorrow on the Plains, but moving forward, can't give up those big plays.
Bishop Davenport has been really good for South Alabama. Now, again, he is not playing Auburn in Jordan-Hare Stadium. He is playing Morgan State. And he is playing Tulane, which was a step up, and he was actually better against Tulane than he was against Morgan State. He completed 70% of his passes, 70% against Tulane, 231 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Hasn't thrown a pick yet this year. He's been solid, Bishop Davenport has, for South Alabama. Again, playing at Auburn, different ball game for this kid, but he's not a terrible quarterback.
Sounds like a made-up high school.
Bishop Davenport?
Yeah. Sounds like they'd be playing on the ESPN with Tom Luganbill.
Bishop Sycamore?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And for this Auburn team, Horatio Fields came from Wake Forest, right? Is that where he came from?
I think so.
Yeah. He, to me, is becoming the security blanket for Jackson Arnold. He seems to be one of those guys that it can be a short yardage, clutch, need that first down receiver, Horatio Fields. He may not be the Malcolm Simmons, Kim Coleman, Eric Singleton, big play guy, but I'm not going to say he's as good as Keandre Lambert-Smith last year, who was a security blanket. That guy was great, and he's doing it in the NFL.
Yeah, and look, if they would have had more of a season, that would have been one of the steals out of the transfer portal. But like Fields gets his first touchdown last week. And I do think you've got such a massive array of talent in that wide receiver room. Nobody's really talking about the kid.
Yeah. But again, in just SEC receivers, we're only 2 weeks in. I get it. Kim Coleman's 25th in the conference in yards per game.
And that's after catching 7 catches last week.
Yeah. 50 yards per game is his average. That is 25th in the conference. So 24 through 2 games, 24 SEC receivers are averaging more yards per game than Kim Coleman. Not the way I thought this season would start for him. Now, again, I thought Singleton would be the better receiver, but Singleton hasn't exactly torn it up yardage-wise anyway. Now, a lot of that's weighted down by the one game against Baylor where they didn't have to throw. They were able to run at will, so they just ran all night. I get that.
Right. I look forward to seeing what Auburn and how they handle this mentally, because it's only human nature after getting the big win at Baylor, then having the cakewalk against Ball State, to be looking ahead now to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It's only natural. And I know a lot of people have made a big deal about that Hugh Freeze pregame speech, play for the people that have saved up all year. They're going to park 5 miles from now. They're going to walk to the top of the stadium. Maybe the only chance they get to see you. You got another one of those type games at 11:45 this weekend. Shane Beamer would tell you the same thing, probably almost word for word in South Carolina.
Have you guys looked ahead at next weekend, though?
No.
I'm just wondering, because you're going to have a ranked Auburn undefeated and obviously an undefeated Oklahoma. Is there a chance we get
game day?
Is game day a possibility?
I haven't looked at the whole schedule. I don't know. It's a 2:30 ESPN game, so could be the primetime. What is the primetime game that night? Do you remember?
I don't.
I can't tell you any games next weekend.
I don't look ahead.
Well, Jim, are you a 1 week at a time guy?
I'm trying to go 1-0 with my TV schedule this weekend. That's what
Well, Hugh Freeze was asked about it because you got the Jackson Arnold storyline, and he tried to downplay it like, hey, we got to play South Alabama. And I don't blame a coach for doing that. That's the message you want to send to your team. But I do. I mean, that is, if Auburn, is impressive at all, like you said, it is a ranked game and would get some attention. That is 2:30 ABC. Your primetime game is Florida at Miami. I guess some of that would depend on how Florida does against LSU. If they could pull the upset and Miami beats South Florida, that might be your game day location. They may have already announced it and I just missed it. I don't know. But Florida at Miami is your primetime game.
I mean, surely we got to be getting some good Big Ten games at this point. Some other big games around the country.
Well, your ranked games next
Do we get Oregon Penn State next
Your
week?
ranked games next week
That's
are
still 2 more weeks of that.
Your ranked games next week are Clemson hosting Syracuse. Well, your top 25. Clemson hosts Syracuse, South Florida, Texas Tech at Utah.
That's a possibility.
That'd be a fun game. Oregon's Oregon State. You're not going to do that one. South Carolina, Missouri. I mean, it could be Auburn, Oklahoma. That's your juiciest game there.
Is Syracuse one of those places game day's never been?
I don't know, but they're at
I think it is.
But they're at Clemson, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're at Clemson.
All right. Now to Alabama as they get ready to roll. Bray Hubbard talks about the one thing the defense has to do. They got to play the run better. Obviously against Florida State, that wasn't good. Can't tell with La Monroe. Here comes Wisconsin. Historically, the reputation is they'll run the football on you. So Bray Hubbard says that's a good challenge because this defense has to be better against the run.
obviously we got to stop the run better. We're doing a great job stopping the pass. I think, just like I said, stopping the run, stopping the power read, stopping the gap schemes, stopping the zone game, zone read, whatever it is. I mean, we got to be better in the run game, and that starts from D-line all the way up to safety support. We're getting a lot of moving pieces, a lot of different run games, and smoke and mirrors everywhere. So there's constantly people moving, sliders going back. I mean, but you just got to play gap sound and do your job. You can't try to do somebody else's job or force to make a play. You just have to focus on your job, and the plays will come to you.
Danny O'Neil starting for that team, so that you expect Wisconsin to rely on the run a little bit more than probably normally they would have.
Dylan Jones is their leading rusher, Lance, and let me pull up it is not great.
It's not good.
I mean,
they've gotten by with just playing really good defense against inferior opponents.
54 yards a game for him. That's leading Wisconsin. 54 yards a game. And he's only scored one touchdown.
Yeah, not a lot of skill.
Yeah. It's just not who they used to be.
Our New York Butcher final question of the day brought to you by the great folks at New York Butcher.
Hey, make sure you stop in, see Jim, the great staff of Butchers. 2 locations, the original, Cava Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone, the freshest meats from the ribs, the chicken, the pork, the in-house made sides, fantastic selection of fine wines and desserts. One-stop dinner shop again. Tell Jim hello from the next round. 2 locations, rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
All right, give me one team that is pressing the panic button after this weekend. One team fan base that is hitting that big red panic button after the weekend.
Man, I wish I could say that Clemson is going to lose to Georgia Tech.
Well, they would be pressing the panic.
And if that happens, oh my gosh, with the second half, just from the second half on against LSU, if they are to lose this game, because that was the one gun to head. Hey, you give me one team that's going to be in the college football playoff. We all went Clemson. So I'm just going to stick with that. I'm going to roll that Forster's got this thing dialed in. I know you've got the other side. I am going to sit back. I'm staying away from that game. I do think Clemson's probably the right way. But, boy, the panic would be at an all-time high for Dabo Swinney. And I think at that point you would hear, unfortunately, not to the level of Mike Gundy, but I think even though they were in the college football playoff, I think there's Clemson fans would be like, damn, has, the best of Dabo behind us?
Has the ship sailed?
Yeah.
I mean, we can build the statue and all, but let's move on to the next guy. Maybe they are that.
I mean, they would never move on to the next guy, but I think that mentality from Clemson fans, we might never get another championship under Dabo.
Yeah, no. I could see them definitely thinking that way. I mean, does Notre Dame, if they lose to Texas A&M, you got to hit the panic button.
Yeah.
Again, you just played for the national championship. This is not fire your coach panic button, but this is, my gosh, we're not making the football playoff panic button.
I mean, look, Notre Dame can play their way out this weekend. Clemson can technically play their way out this weekend. Florida can definitely play their way out this weekend. I mean, look, if you get massive upsets, the biggest upset in the country would be Alabama losing to Wisconsin, because
it would be a panic button.
It would be, Kalen DeBoer, the house is on fire.
Yeah.
And there's, at that point, I don't think you can pull out of it.
Yeah. At that point, we don't need no water. You're going to let that.
Yeah, they would. They'd let the MFR burn.
Yeah. All right. Tell us about Gallettes and Bud Light one more time as we wrap up here, a road show, the first of 6 this football season.
Yeah, I remember coming back to this place in the 90s, and then every Alabama game I would come back to, we would go to Gallette's, and told you one of the best renovations was the new bathrooms here. Beautiful location. Fully remodeled over the last few years, home of the original Yellowhammer. You can come get them in those yellow plastic cups that have the Gallette's print on it. Bud Light, though, we really appreciate everything they've done for us. They're down here all day giving out the gear. Cold Bud Light at those college beer prices. You got to love it all weekend long. Great place before and after the game right here on the Strip at Gallette's.
All right. Fun show. We're back with you on Monday morning, normal time, 9 a.m. Central Time. We look forward to that. Always everybody back behind the big glass, back in studio. Great job on the road. Brooks and Brownie and LT and me here at Gallette's. Hope you have a great weekend. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.